so welcome to the end of year, technically September holiday revision event for Sec 2 Math. Okay, so this is a Sec 2 event by right. Okay, I only expected Sec 2 O-level students to sign up. But if you are IP student, which I see a lot of you here are from NY girls, okay, do take note that the normal O-level syllabus, the Sec 2 syllabus, is slightly different from your school. So if you see any chapter that you are not familiar with, don't worry. It means you haven't learned only. You will learn next time round, okay? So just a heads up, you will see probability, which your school, some schools have not covered. So if you don't understand anything, it's okay. It's not going to come up for your end of year exams. All right. Hi, everyone. I am Miss E-Lin. You can call me Teacher E-Lin, Miss E-Lin, Miss Ng also can. Some of you have been calling me the wrong name, but that's fine. All right. So long as I know you're calling me, that's fine. Okay. So just some background about me. I am am I recording a lesson? Okay, I am. Okay. So I teach primary, secondary, IP, JC math. That's a lot of math. Okay, I know. And I actually special in IP and O level A math or your IM2 for NY girls. But don't worry, I can teach Sec 2 math. Okay. So I have about 7 years of teaching experience. This is not updated. Y'all can do the math lah. All right, so just some more credentials, especially those who are not OVERMUGGED students, in case you think that some random person teaching you, don't worry, okay? I know my math-related things, okay? But the more important thing here I want you to take away is math is fun once you get it, all right? So if you still don't think it's fun, right, maybe you're not learning the subject right, and please do your homework, do your practice, do your revision, okay? Your school teachers give you homework, not for fun, You think your school teacher want to mark your work? I don't think so, okay? Some of your handwriting very bad, cannot even see, so it's very hard to write, mark, okay? So do practice, because math really, the more questions you do, okay, you will get better one. It's really just like that. And another thing I want you guys to know is don't be shy to ask questions. If you are unclear with anything, just let me know, okay? I don't want you to attend this 3-hour session, then you go home or leave the Zoom chat even more confused than before. All right, so later on, I will definitely ask you guys if you have any questions. For those online, feel free to write in the Zoom chat, okay? And then for those physically here, you just flag me down, okay? All right, so yeah. And then more about me, this is a bit outdated also. I'm currently no longer obsessed with Smiskies. I'm too busy to have an obsession, all right? But I really like Smiskies last time. And then I really like cute and cool stationaries, and I like my students improving. Okay, some of you might know I have a pink color calculator. That's quite cool, right? Yeah, okay, I think that's cool. I don't know about you, but I think it's cool. Okay, and I really hate bihun. So yes, that is what I hate the most. And I don't like it when my students are not asking whenever they have any doubts. All right, so please let me know if you have any questions. You can let me know if I'm going too fast or I'm going too slowly. Okay? So the key takeaways I would like you guys to have from today's revision session is to recap some key concepts and also learn some common mistakes to avoid. Okay, these common mistakes are really super common. Okay, I guarantee you, everyone here, at least one of you will make that mistake one. Okay, and then we'll also be identifying common question types and the methods to tackle them. And we will also be doing some checking, and I mean, if we happen to go through them, I will go through some checking, memorization, and tackling tips. Okay, so let's begin with today's session. We will start off with the notes. Okay, so for the notes, right, it's a new copy. None of you should have it before this, okay, if I'm not wrong. So for those of you online, please make sure you download the notes. If you need to, can you download it right now? Those of you physically here, everyone have the notes? Have, Okay, then let's start. Are you here for the sec? Okay. Oh, it's all there. Yeah, it's all there. Okay, sorry. Let me pass out some notes first. For those online, please go and download if you haven't done so already. Okay, if anyone needs the link, okay, it's in the Google link. Hold on. Okay, everyone have the notes. Okay, let's begin. Okay, so the first chapter we'll be revising is your quadratic equations. Okay, everyone here know what is a quadratic equation, right? Okay, if you don't know, you go and revise yourself first lah, okay? So over here, we have a quadratic equation because it is a power 2. Okay, in Sec 2, you will only learn until power 2, but later on when you reach upper Sec, you will see a lot more confusing powers like power 3, fraction power, so on and so forth. All right, a quadratic equation, okay, please make sure there is an equal. It's called an equation because there's an equal sign. And you always want the right-hand side to be equals to 0. Okay, over here, we are solving a quadratic equation. So what does that mean? Solving a quadratic equation means you're actually solving for x. Okay, you're finding the value of x. Over here in Sec 2 O-level syllabus, you will only learn one way, which is quadratic factorization. Okay, but some of you have learned the other ways. If your school went through, there's actually 3 ways. Quadratic formula, completing the square, but today we will only be doing the quadratic factorization way. Okay, so you must always make one side equals to 0 if it's an equation, because if it's not equals to 0, okay, it's just not correct. All right, so first things first, let's go through an example. Okay, this thing, can you guys, okay, not can you guys, let me teach you first. This is your quadratic equation. You are supposed to solve for x. Whenever you are solving a quadratic equation, the first thing you must do is key in this equation into your calculator. Do you all know how to key into your calculator? Okay, if you all don't know how to key into your calculator, let me know. How do you key in? Casio calculator, you should go to equation mode, go to polynomial, and then click degree 2. Okay, if you have no idea what I'm talking about, you can let me know. So why do you want to key into your calculator? Because your calculator will be able to help you solve this thing. Do you all know how to key into the calculator? Yes, no, can you all answer me? All right. Okay, some of you don't know. Hold on, let me go and get my calculator. This is very, very useful, okay? Because if your teacher never teach you this method, that means they expect you to do the longer method, which is correct. It's not wrong, but this is just a shorter method to help you do a shortcut. Give me a moment, let me get my calculator. Okay, so I'm going to go through the Casio calculator way because I'm assuming everyone here or most of you here have a Casio calculator. Okay, for those of you online, sorry, let me make my screen less blurry so you can see my calculator. Okay, can you guys go to menu? When you click menu, y'all know where's the menu button? Okay, can y'all share the calculators with your friends if you don't have a calculator? Click menu, then can you see number 5 is equation mode? Can you click 5 now? Okay, so at number 5, can you see that there is simultaneous and polynomial? For today's lesson, we will be using polynomial, okay? So how to go to polynomial mode? Click 2 again. Then they will ask you, okay, what is the degree? Okay, what is the degree? This question, can you see quadratic equation, the degree is 2? So you click 2 again now. So now you should reach a page whereby you see ax squared plus bx plus c equals to 0. Can see that? Okay, so can you key in the coefficients of x squared, x, and the constant right now into your calculator? Can you see for this particular work example, the coefficient of x squared is 1. So you key in a 1. To go to the next number, key in the equal. Press the equal, okay? Then now you key in a 3. Equal, then key in a negative 10. Common mistakes is students forget to key in the negative for the 10. All right, so please take note. For those online, can you guys see my calculator? I'm stretching. Okay, hopefully you can see. Okay, so after you key into your calculator will throw out an answer, 2 and negative 5. Do you all see that? When you see one answer is 2, you click equal again, you'll see negative 5. Is that clear? Do you all see it? Okay, so what does that mean? The calculator has helped you solve the equation. So the answer is 2 and the answer is negative 5. That's why this is very, very useful. Do you all understand? Okay, but the calculator only tell you the answer. You need to go and factorize on your own. Okay, so let's work backwards. The first thing you always do is key into the calculator first to play cheat, okay, to get the final answer. But of course, you cannot tell the teacher or the examiner that, oh, okay, I use calculator and then that's my answer, that's it. Cannot, right? You need to have some workings. So what do? You work backwards. Because the answer is -5 and the answer is 2, it means that the factorized version must be x plus 5 and x minus 2. Because only when it is these two factors, you can solve for x and you can solve for x over here. Okay, can you see that over here, x must be equals to -5? Over here, x must be equals to 2. Can see that? So in a way, you work backwards. You get the answer, then you work backwards to get the factorized form. Is that clear? Okay, but another thing is, please make sure you don't just write this thing and call it the end of the day. You must also always write down the factorization table because this is key working to give you your working marks. All right. So even though the calculator has helped you got the answer, you must still show the examiner like you pick it like as if you start the workings from scratch. Yes, exactly. You need both. Okay. Because how are you going to get from here to here? Like, are you a human calculator? Can you go from here to here? Okay, if you hand, too bad lah. Okay, you still need to show the working, all right? So right now, does everyone understand that you can work backwards from the calculator? Okay, this is very useful. So this one, you kind of need to use a bit of guess and check at first, right? But with the calculator there to help you, you can work backwards. You're not even like guessing anymore. You are very sure that here will be a 5, here will be a -2, because this must be the two factors. Is that clear? I know some of you in school, you don't use this factorization table. You use the one that looks like this instead. It's the same thing. Okay, they are the same thing, they're equivalent. All right. Another thing to take note is there's a difference between solving and factorization. Okay, what is the difference? Factorize versus solve. Solving, you are asked to find the answer for x. Okay, but factorization, you just need to change the equation to the factorized form over here. So there's a difference. Can you see that technically solving is one step after factorization? So if the question asks you to factorize a quadratic equation, you can just stop here. This is enough. But if they ask you to solve a quadratic equation, you must go and do this thing over here. All right, is that clear? Okay, so over here, there's a few reminders. Please make sure you follow the reminders, okay? Please use the box method or the cross method as you're working. You cannot magically just give the examiner this thing over here. Okay, especially for those of you who are taking O-levels. O-levels are every year, Cambridge examiner say that this thing is missing. Okay, so please make sure you include the relevant workings. All right. Okay, so another thing that you must take note, okay, some questions you must still use factorization table or the other cross method because you cannot key into the calculator. Let's take a look at this question over here. Okay, can you see that in your calculator, you only can key in the coefficient of x squared, x, and the constant. But this thing over here, can you see there's no x squared, there's no x, there's no constant? Can y'all see that? Okay, y'all can see your calculator again. You only can key in coefficients for x squared, x, and constant. But over here, is there a constant? Everything have variable left. Okay, so because you cannot key such an equation into the calculator, you have no choice. You have to do the manual box or cross or factorization table method. Okay, so don't be over reliant on the calculator. You use the calculator to help you, okay, but you don't over rely on it. Is that clear? Now, how would you do this question? How would you factorize this? Okay, so over here, you have your a squared and your 44b squared. Your 44b squared, you should treat it like as if it's the constant by putting it on this location of the factorization table. Because the factorization table, right, usually the one at the other side is the mixed term, like x is the mixture of x squared and a constant. AB is a mixture of a and b. That's why AB, 25AB is on this side, okay? Then from here, can you see that this is the factorization table? How do you get an a squared? It must be a times a, then you put over here. Oops, hold on, give me a moment. Sorry about that. Where's my answer? Okay, so what do you put on the other sides of the factorization table? Give me a moment now. Okay, for you to get a b square, you definitely need a b square and a b square over here. Okay, give me a moment now. Sorry, did I? Okay, yeah. So how are you going to get a 25? And how are you going to get a 144 over here? This one you need to play around with your calculator, okay? 144 is actually 16 times 9. So you have to put a 16 and a 9 over here. But because there is a negative, there's no negative. So it's just this thing over here. And then there is 16AB and then 9AB, then you can get your 25AB. Can see that? So you still need to use a factorization table to do such a question. If some of you are fast enough, maybe you can see another method. All right. So over here, the factorization will be plus 16b bracket a plus 9b. Sorry, my a and my 9 look a bit similar. I know. Okay, maybe let me do this to the a. Maybe it's easier to differentiate. Okay, so from here, a is equals to negative 16b or a is equals to negative 9b. Okay, is that clear? Can anyone tell me if they can see another method to do this question? This one can or not? Let me double check. Is it this question that can use two methods? Sorry, not this question. Sorry, my bad. This is the only way. Okay, but there are certain questions that you can use more than one method. I will go through later on as well. Okay, is everyone clear over here? Okay, let me zoom in. Sorry, I might have to go a bit faster because we only have 3 hours and there's quite a lot of things to cover. Okay, let's move on to the next page. So now, they ask you to factorize this completely. Take note, what is the question asking you? Factorize or solving? Do you know where to stop? Okay, for this question, there is no equals to 0. So you cannot write equal to 0. It is not an equation, but it is still a quadratic expression. So what you can still do is you can key this into your calculator and help you with the factorization. Can you guys try this right now? Okay, I'm not sure if you're observant enough. Okay, these numbers are a bit familiar, right? Did we just use these numbers just now? Okay, so how would you factorize this? You can either use the factorization cross table, or you can key into your calculator. Do you all know how to key this into the calculator? Okay, when you key into your calculator, the calculator will tell you 16 or 9, right? So you can backtrack. 16 or 9, it means that the factors must be x minus 16, x minus 9. Is that clear? So you backtrack, okay? So calculator tell you this. So you know that the answer is 16 and 9, but you don't want to solve for the thing. You want to do the factorization. You want to stop at the factorization step, okay? Then your workings will look like this. Okay, please take note of the workings, not just the solution, all right? Okay, so this is actually your, okay, you don't need to write this. This whole thing will be the valid working for this question over here. Okay, is everyone clear with part A? Too simple? Okay, hopefully it's too simple for some of you. So some key things is, okay, first step, key into the calculator. Second step, work backwards from the calculator answer to get the factorization. And then the third step is to make sure your presentation is proper. Okay, now, for those of you who are doing part B, okay, doing part B, do you realize that the numbers are very similar? It's just that the x has become a y to the power of 4 and a y to the power of 2, right? So they say hence, okay? There's a keyword hence over here. Hence meaning you definitely need to use the previous part to help you. If you don't use the previous part, you will be penalized, all right? Hence means you must use the previous part, unless the question say hence or otherwise. Then you can do whichever method you prefer. So if they say hence, it's also hinting to you that you should use your previous part to help you. Can you see the difference between these two questions? Is every x is being replaced by a y square? Then x square is being replaced by y to the power of 4 because every x become y squared. Can see that? Okay, so it means that using your previous working, if this was the factorization, okay, can you see your factorization will now be this step over here? Can you all see that this is now the factorized form? Can, right? Anyone want to tell me the answer for y? Want to tell me? Sorry? 4 or 3. Okay, any other answers? It's wrong. It's okay. It's okay to make mistakes. Don't be worried, all right? I want to hear some common answers. Correct. Okay. Some of you, for those in my class, y'all better know this. You all don't know this, you're good luck. Okay. So this question, you must have a plus and minus. So the answer is actually 4 or -4, 3 or -3. How come got negative answer? Because when you square root a square term, there is always going to be plus or minus. All right. This is another very, very common mistake over here. So do take note. Okay, a lot of schools like to test this question. All right, so everyone clear why is there a plus or minus? Can, okay. So, but do take note, some questions there's only plus because they can say something like, oh, y represents the number of apples. Do you think there can be negative number of apples? Not really, right? So please remember to read the context as well, okay? Even though, yes, numerically there is a negative answer, but because of the context, for example, like apple marbles okay, cannot be negative. Okay, if you can have negative amount of apples, you're very special. Okay, let's move on to work example 3. Okay, for work example 3 over here, they ask you to solve the following equation. So what does solving means? Solving means you need to go and solve for the value of x. But this equation, your x is in the denominator. It's a bit weird, right? You never ever want the thing that you want to solve to be in the denominator, okay? Because to solve something, technically, isn't it to make x the subject? You want x to be the subject, right? How can it be in the denominator? So the first thing you want to do is push up all the denominators. You don't want any denominator to appear. But how are you going to remove this denominator when there's a 1 over here? Okay, there is more than one method, but let's go through the example over here. The example over here, right, they convert the 1 to a fraction as well. Because only when you convert the 1 to a fraction, you can combine these two things over here. Can see that? You want to combine it because you want to simplify whatever you're seeing so that you can make x the subject eventually. So how come I know I need to choose this as a denominator? Why not 5? Why not 7x minus 7? It is because you want it to be common so that you can combine the two fractions together, all right? And if your denominator is a 2x minus 3, your numerator must also be a 2x minus 3. Is that clear? Because this is the only way whereby you can get 1. All right? After you make this the fraction, you can combine these two. Everyone can see why I can combine, right? This one is primary school math. Okay, common denominator, you can combine the numerator. And then once you get this step, can you see that you can push up the denominator already? Because if you multiply throughout by 2x minus 3, here cancel, but here will have 2x minus 3, 2x minus 3. Then you multiply throughout again by 2x minus 2 minus 3x, here is cancelled out, but you can bracket it on the other side. You can multiply it to the other side as well. Is that clear? Okay, so you will eventually be able to get this equation over here. And then can you see that this thing over here is actually a quadratic expression because there is a 4x multiplied by a negative 3x. Can see that? So it's quadratic already. Then whenever you see something quadratic, what are the key steps? Key into the calculator. All right, but one side must be equals to 0, right? So after you expand it out, you push everything to the other side, okay? You will get this equals to 0. All right. Then when you simplify, you will get negative 12x squared plus 15x minus 3 equals to 0. Can see that? Okay, but before you key in this into the calculator, I would always advise you to simplify the equation first, okay? And make sure your coefficient of x squared is positive. can you see that you can divide this equation throughout by 3? Can you all see that? Because 12, 15, and -3s are multiples of 3, right? But then I don't want you to just divide by 3 to simplify. I want you to divide by -3, all right? Because you always want the coefficient of x squared, okay, to be positive. I will explain why later, okay? Then can you key this into the calculator and can you all continue on your own? Okay, 4x squared minus 5x plus 1. Can you factorize this? Hopefully you all use the calculator method. Okay, if anyone uses the sharp calculator and don't know how to go to the calculator mode, you can let me know after class. I will teach you. Can? Anyone want to tell me their answers? Okay, those online, you all can participate. I can write in the chat box or you can message me directly.
1 or 1/4.
Yes, exactly. 1 or 1/4. Okay, your calculator will tell you 1/4. All right, but how are you going to reverse your steps? Okay, great. Okay, those online got it right as well. How do you reverse your steps? For you to have a 1/4, can you see you need a 4x minus 1? Because only when it's a 4x minus 1, 4x is equals to 1, x is equals to 1 over 4. Can you all see why this is the factorized step? Okay, it's working backwards from the answer from the calculator. All right, so, excuse me. So please don't go and write this, x minus 1/4. Please don't write this, okay? This is wrong. I will teach you why is that wrong, okay? So, after you get this from your calculator, okay, and you know that these are the factors, please remember to fake as though you never use the calculator, okay? Do the factorization table at the side. Very important, especially those who take O levels, okay? I know some of you here that's attending the event don't take O levels, but this still applies to you, all right? Now, over here, why is it a 4? Okay, sorry, this is the wrong one. Why is it this and why is it not this? Remember, you need to get this step from this step by right? Can you see that over here, it is a 4x squared. But when you factorize, if it's a x minus 4, you change this to x minus 1/4, sorry. Do you think you can get a 4x squared? X times x is equals to 4x squared, man? No, right? That's why one of your factors must definitely have a 4x in front, so that when you take this times this, you can get back to your previous step. Is that clear? Okay? Then, how come I say you need to go and write this? Sorry, how come I say you need to write this, convert to this first? Why must you always simplify the equation before you key into the calculator? It's not a must, but if you don't do it, make sure you don't make the mistake. Okay, let me go through why I advise you to simplify. So can you guys key this into the calculator right now? Okay, can you key into the calculator right now? Will the answer be the same? It will, right? The answer will still be 1 and 4x, and 1/4, right? If you key this into the calculator. Now, if you are missing all these steps, okay, your working will look like this. This is the step. Then your next step will be this. Do you think it is correct to get from here to here immediately? There is a -12 in front of your x squared. But over here, your x squared only multiply out to +4. Can see? So there's some sort of missing steps. If you want to skip from this step straight away to the factorization answer, you must tell yourself to put a -3 in front. But a lot of times, students will forget to put this -3, and they will just write this as the next step. Okay? So to avoid this confusion of forgetting the -3, why not just simplify the equation first as much as possible? Make sure that in front is a positive coefficient as well. Then when you key into your calculator, you reverse to get the factorization step. You won't have any chance of missing out any coefficients in front. Okay? Is that clear? Not clear, ask me after class or ask me in the chat box for those online. Okay? If it's too simple, great, let's move on. Okay, So another thing that I want to mention, you can always check your work when you are solving for X. Take note, when you are solving for X, you are finding the possible answers for X, right? Okay, so if you want to find the possible answer of X, okay, here's my solution, 1 1/4. Then I key in my solutions back into the original equation. Your solution should fit in the original question, right? If it doesn't fit in the original question, it means that your answer is confirmed wrong. So this is a foolproof way to check. Okay, so when you key in 1 over here, on your left-hand side, you will get a -1. But when you sub in 1 over here as well, on your right-hand side, you will also get -1. The fact that your left and right-hand side are both equal, it means that the answer -1 for X is definitely correct. All right? Is everyone clear so far? Can, Okay, if everyone is all right, I'll move on to the next question. Okay, so over here, they ask you to solve the following equations. The answer should have been provided to you already. Okay, I'm not going to go through every single question. I will go through some only. So the answers are there. You can go and try on your own at home, okay? Now, for question 8, they ask you to solve. Do you all realize that the first step is to expand the left-hand side? Because if you don't expand the left-hand side, you cannot make one side equals to 0, and you cannot see that quadratic p squared. Only after you expand, then you can see that. Can you guys try this question on your own right now? Okay, you might have to lower down your volume, those here physically. Okay, it's quite noisy. All right. Then after you expand, tell yourself, make one side equals to 0, and then your p square coefficient should be positive and as simple as possible. Okay, some hints. Okay, if anyone finish, want to let me know the answer also can. Wrong, never mind. We're all here to learn, all right? The Zoom recording, I don't think I will be uploading it to the Google Drive because I don't think I'm allowed to, all right? Okay. I could if I'm allowed to, all right? But same thing, for those of you who have any questions, you all can message me. I provided my number above. But I'm quite slow at replying because I have a lot of messages. So if I don't reply you, double text me because I might have missed it. Okay, did y'all manage to get this thing over here? P squared minus 4p? Over here, you can key into the calculator. But if you're fast enough, can you see that p is a common factor? You can take it out immediately, okay? So because this one, right, by I power, you can take out common factor p out immediately. You don't have to do the factorization table, okay? This one is just justifiable that there is no factorization table, okay? So what is the answer left? 0 and 4. Does it match up with the calculator answer? It better do, okay? Now, for those of you who are done with this question, can you move on to part E? Part B to C, y'all do on your own now. Okay, I hope y'all can do. All right, for those of you who are in my class, if you want to ask me part B and C, you can let me know. Okay? Can y'all try part E on your own now? Part E got fraction, So how do you... Yeah, correct. Okay, those online, you got the answers also. For part E, okay, there are fractions. Do you want an X in your denominator? Not really, right? Okay, you don't want an X in your denominator. So you want to push it up somehow, right? So you multiply throughout by the denominator. But to make your life easier, do you want the 11 as a denominator? Not really. So you will multiply throughout by 11 as well. Can you guys see that this will happen? Can see? Cannot see? Tell me, okay? Okay, from here, I leave it up to you guys to continue. Let me give you a hint. There are 2 methods to do this question from this step. Okay, if you did one method, maybe later on you want to copy down the other method. Okay? Yes, can you all stop being so loud? Okay. All right, can discuss, but don't disturb your friends, okay? Yeah, I don't stop you all from talking because I know sometimes you guys are discussing. So you feel free to discuss, but don't disturb your friends in the classroom, okay? Okay, can you see that one method is to expand all? Because when you expand all, then you can get the quadratic equation and key into your calculator, right? So that's one method. Okay, so if you expand all, you make one side equals to 0, it will look like this. Can you guys continue from here? Okay, I saw some questions in the Zoom chat. I will answer later on. Okay, for those of you asking questions on Zoom, feel free to put it in the public chat, okay? Don't be shy. No one's going to remember your name. So why I ask you all put in public chat is because so other people can see the question as well, then they understand what you're asking. It's not name and shame, no. Okay, after you key into the calculator, you got the answer, but you cannot just write the answer directly. You must show the factorization steps, okay? The calculator will tell you -4 and 18. So you work backwards to get the factors, okay? Some of you are asking me, how come I know that x minus 18 is equals to 0 or x plus 4 equals to 0? You ask yourself, how can a multiplication be equals to 0? Okay, I'm answering the question online. How can you multiply to get a 0? For example, 5 times 0, it is still 0, right? 6 times 0 is still 0. 199 times 0, it is still 0. So anything times 0 will give you a 0 at the end of the day. Okay? So it means this or this can be equals to 0 for you to get a 0 as the answer. All right? That's why these two statements are correct. And after you get these two statements, you can get the solution for x. Is that clear for those online asking the question? Okay, so for this green color step, it is okay to omit it in your workings because from here, you can see directly already. If this is equals to 0, it means x is equals to 18. If this is equals to 0, it means x must be equals to -4. All right? Is everyone clear with this method over here? This is your very typical method that we have done for the last few steps. Okay, let's go through another method. Okay, the other method, okay, there is two answers as well. Okay, don't panic, there's two answers. Some of you messaged and say you tried the other method, but there's only one answer. Take note, when there is a square root and when there's a square term and you square root it, there will be plus and minus. So for the other possible solution, can you see if you square root this and square root this immediately, you will get 7x equals to 11 or 7x equals to -11. Common mistake is students forget the -11 answer. That's why you only get one answer if you use the purple color method at the bottom. Okay? So there's still going to be two answers because you're square rooting a square term. Okay, I mentioned this just now. Square rooting a square term, you always have two answers. Common mistake. Don't make this mistake in school. Okay, your friends, someone in your class will confirm make it, but just make sure it's not you. Okay. Everyone clear with part A and E? Okay, I'll leave you guys to do part B to D on your own. Not difficult. Okay. The more challenging one is part E already. Everyone okay? All right, moving on to the next page. For this question, they are not asking you to solve, okay? Work example 4. They are asking you to find the value of x over y. Question, do you think you can key in this statement into the calculator? Cannot, right? So too bad lah. You need to go and use your factorization table, the cross method or the box method. Can you all do it right now? How do you do the factorization table? Okay, I only like to use the cross method. So I'll use the cross method as reference. Okay, so which is your mixture term? Your mixture term is -6xy. Can see that? So -6xy will be here. Then since this one comes first, we put this in front now. Then this one is over here, we put this at the back. So you need to kind of do a bit of guess and check to help you come up with the values in the table. Is that clear? Okay, but first of all, how come I know I even need to factorize? They ask me what is x over y, right? They never ask me to solve. So how come I know I need to factorize? It's just like that, okay? Because literally, there's nothing else you can do other than factorize. Like what else are you gonna do? nothing, right? Like you cannot start the question. So it's a factorization question. And after you factorize, you get until the factorized that is very clear already. So can you all try factorizing on your own first? Okay, try factorizing on your own first. Hold on, wait, yeah, later on I'll show you the answer. Let me complete the factorization table with you guys. Maybe we want to try 3x, 3x. Then maybe here y. Then over here is 3xy, 3xy. But here got negative, so how? You just put a negative in front here, lor. So here is negative, negative as well. That's why you can get negative 6xy. Okay? Are you all able to see that this is the factorized form? Can see? Okay? Now, if this is the factorized form, okay, it means that 3x is equals to y, right? Yes? No? Do you all know why 3x is equals to y? Because this and this must be equal for it to be a 0. Can see? If 3x equals to y, isn't 3x over y equals to 1? Because you divide throughout by y. Can see that? Okay. From here to here, what's happening? You want to divide by y on this side to get that x over y. But if you divide on y on one side of the equation, you must also do it on the other side, right? Because the equation is equal. If you do it on one side, you must do on the other. Y over y is equals to 1. Can see that? Then from here, you know you want x over y. There's a 3 in the way. You want to divide by 3 to remove the 3, right? So if you divide by 3 to remove the 3, on the other side, you also need to divide by 3. Therefore, the answer is 1/3. Is that clear? Is there any question? Okay, hold on. So this is one method. You use the factorization table to factorize to get one method. Let me show you another method. Okay, this other method is the one that I was saying just now. If you guys are very observant, you might be able to see another I power factorization method. But before I go through the other method, do you all still remember this? Okay, I'll show the answers later, don't worry. You all still remember this? Okay, in school, your teacher will definitely say this thing one. These 3 things over here are your quadratic identities. In school, your teacher will always refer, okay, maybe your teacher not always refer it to this way, but most schools will do that. This is quadratic identity 1, quadratic identity 2, quadratic identity 3. Can you see that for quadratic identity 1, this is the other side? Then for the second one, it is this thing over here. This one, you all just need to memorize lah, okay? You should memorize it by now. All right? This one is this thing over here. Okay? Over here for this question, if you are observant enough, can you see you can break this term up as 3x whole thing square? This one is y whole thing square. Then this thing over here, you can break it up. You can take out 2 as a common factor to squeeze out your 2ab. Can see that? Can you all see? So by right, this is your second quadratic identity, right? So if this is the extended form, it means that you can write this as the factorized form. Is that clear? Then if you have this thing over here, okay, you will have another way to do it. So if you use the first method, please copy down the second method for your own reference. Okay, I always encourage all my students to be able to see as many methods as you can. Because if you can see a lot of methods, right, when you do the question, you'll be very fast because immediately you're like, oh, so many methods coming into your head, right? So you can finish the question really quickly. And also, if you have more than one method, that means you can always check your answer. If both methods give you the same answer, it means that your answer confirmed correct. Okay? Do y'all know how to get from here to here? Let me erase. Some of you look super confused. Do you all know how to get the orange highlighted steps? Yes, okay, I guess you're just tired. That's why you look confused. Okay, so from here, some of you might be wondering, I thought you say square root a square term means got two answers. Yes, but plus minus 0, isn't it still 0? Okay, that's why there's only one answer. All right? Everyone clear with this over here? Okay, feel free to take a photo if you need to. Okay, in case I'm going too fast and you're still writing down the solutions. Okay, now that I finished going through this question over here, can you guys do the one at the bottom on your own? They ask you to find this fraction again, right? If they ask you to find this fraction, and it's a quadratic equation over here, right? There's literally nothing else you can do other than factorize it. Okay, how are you going to factorize it? You must always make sure one side is equals to 0. Okay, make sure one side is equals to 0. Okay, anyone who's done can let me know the answer. I honestly cannot remember the answer, but you can let me know yours. Any questions so far? Don't have, Okay, if you have questions, just let me know. For those online, same thing. You can feel free to unmute yourself right now if you need to. Please use the calculator method, guys. Sorry, if you can. This one cannot. Sorry, my bad. Sorry, I fumbled. Hey, don't wait for answers, leh. Okay, y'all do your work. Okay, some of you got the answers already. Let me check. What's the answer? I can't remember. Yeah, the answer is half. Okay, here I show you the second method. Just now that we go through the second one. Feel free to use the factorization table method as well. Not all questions can use this method. Okay, let me emphasize this again. This method only works when you can see a square, a 2ab, and a b square. If you cannot force out a square, a 2ab, and a b square, it means that you must do the long way. Okay, you need to go and make sure you use the factorization table instead. Okay, not all questions can force out a square, 2ab, and b square. Not all questions. Okay, let me show the answers. For those of you who are still doing, please try on your own first. Don't just copy, don't know what's going on. Shh. Yes. Shh. Okay, very good. Some of you are helping your friends remind them. Shh. Okay. All right. Don't disturb your classmates. Actually, any Sec 4 attending this session? Everyone here Sec 3? Sorry, Sec 2, sorry. Any Sec 1 attending this section? Or Sec 3? Okay, I'm just asking, okay? Because I saw the attendance list. For the Sec 3 one, sometimes Sec 4 attend. Okay, some Sec 3 attending. Yeah, no worries, okay? This is a revision event. Feel free to attend. I'm just asking because I'm curious. Hopefully, it helps you refresh your Sec 2 topics, okay?
They're asking for 2x over 5x.
Yes, they're asking 2x over 5y. All right. Okay, let me move on to the next question. Everyone done? Okay, not done, take photo because I need to move on. Moving on to the next question. Okay, so over here, they tell you it's slightly different already. Okay, take note of the question over here. It is slightly different. They are not simply asking you to solve for x. They are telling you that one of the solution is x. But remember just now, we did a checking method. How do you check whether your answer is correct? If your answer is correct, you should be able to sub into the original equation, right? Right now, they are telling you one of the answers. Okay, so do you think you can definitely suck in one of the answers into the equation? Can, right? Because if X is the answer, it means that it will fit in here naturally. So can you sub it in? And are you able to find the value of P after you sub it in? Okay, let me show the solutions. For P, the answer should be -3. Okay, this one you can just key into your calculator. Why leh? Why you all look a bit confused? Can tell me? Do you put a bracket square? Oh, it's 3, right? But other side is P or is it -P? 3 is equals to -P. So P must be equals to -3. Can see? Okay. Okay, now that you have P, can you go and find the other solution? How do you find solution? Remember, quadratic equation, you need to go and key into your calculator first, but you make one side equals to 0. Okay, make one side equals to 0, then key into the calculator. Then if the answer is out in the calculator, you work backwards to get the factorization step. Okay? If you are done with this question, you all can move on to the others, right? But for those of, I will just continue my normal pace. Okay, it's okay to be faster, but I cannot speed up for you. This question can key into the calculator or not? Can, right? You all can see why? Because there's an x square, an x, and a constant. When you have an x square, an x, and a constant, this formatting over here, you can key into your calculator. Your calculator will tell you the answer half and -3. Okay? So if the calculator tell you half and -3, it means that one of the factor must be 2x minus 1. Because 2x minus 1, you equate it to 0, then 2x equals to 1, then x is equals to half. Can see that? Okay, a shortcut to see the factor over here is you ask yourself, the denominator is 2, right? So in front of the x must be a 2. The numerator is a 1, right? So the number over here must be a 1. Can? So let me give another example. If the answer is 7/5, it means that the factor must be 5x minus 7. 2x. Hold on, let me double check. Is it something wrong with the solutions? Let me double check. Okay, feel free to let me know if the solutions are wrong, because sometimes I make mistake also. Okay, sometimes I'm a bit blind. This looks correct. This thing looks correct, but let me double check. Okay, please lower down your volume. It's getting a little loud. Yeah, the answer is correct. When you key in this in the calculator, wouldn't you get half and -3? Okay, it is okay to let me know if you think that the answers are wrong. Okay, just let me know. But the answer seems correct. Okay, for those of you who are done, you can continue. Any other questions? For those online, you'll be quiet. Okay, you can let me know if you need help. Okay, sometimes I might accidentally unmute myself. Mute myself for those online. So if you don't hear me but you see the screen moving, it means that I muted myself, okay? So do send message to let me know. Okay, I'm assuming everyone is okay with this question. I'm going to move on. Okay, the next section is something different. Okay, it's direct and inverse proportion. Okay, I'm going to move on. So for this chapter, the most important thing is you need to go and solve for k first. Okay, so over here, there's a lot of information. You can go and figure out what is the meaning of inverse and direct proportion, all right? But can you guys read this page over here right now on your own and let me know if you have any questions? Read these 2 points. Okay, read it right now. I will go through, but can you guys read first? Okay, so for direct proportion, if I tell you y is directly proportionate to x, please lower down your volume. Okay, if I tell you that it's direct proportion, it is always going to be y equals to k times x. Okay, if y is directly proportionate to x. But if it's inverse proportion, it is always going to be y equals to k over x instead. It's just like that. Please take note, the word inverse proportion is the same as indirect proportion. Okay, so sometimes the school paper or the notes will say indirect proportion instead. It is the same thing as inverse proportion. The most important thing to do an inverse or direct proportion question is always to form the equation first. And there's always a k. Okay, this k over here, you don't know the value at first. You need to go and solve for it. Let me use an example to do this question. All right, I need to explain the note so it will be clearer. Okay, and just to let you know, this is how the direct proportion graph will look like. This is how the inverse proportion or indirect proportion graph will look like. It's just like that. You need to know this because, okay, the question can ask you to label, they can give you the graph, then they ask you, is this an inverse or direct proportion relationship? All right, so let's use an example to do this question. Over here, there are the steps, okay? Can you guys read the step right now? I will relate back to the step when doing the example, okay? Read the steps right now if you need to. Everyone done reading? Okay, I continue. Now, the question says, the marks of a student exam is directly proportionate to the square of number of hours studying. Let the exam marks be m, okay? And let the number of hours be t, okay? Because time. We are just letting there be x and m, okay? Now, they say it is directly proportionate, okay? And then they say, given that Tommy spends 12 hours studying and obtain these marks, find the number of hours spent by Jonathan studying if he obtains 60 marks. Okay? Because you are finding for the number of marks, you want to let the marks be on the left-hand side. And because they are directly proportionate, it is KT. If it is indirectly proportionate, it will be K over T. Is that clear? So the first thing to tell yourself is to form this equation first. Okay? So over here, this is the first step. Now, the second step is to always solve for K. All right? How do you solve for K? Let's take a look at the question. The question says, when he spent 12 hours, he scored 85 marks. So can you see, you can suck in 12 over here, and you can suck in 85 over here, and then you can solve for K, because K is equals to 85 over 12. Is that clear? Now, what is 85 over 12? I will show you guys the full solutions later, but I'm just going through the example the flow of the steps so that you understand. 85 over 12, okay, let me use the calculator. Okay, you can just leave it as 85 over 12 over as well, okay, because this seems like the simplest fraction. So can you see, because you have found the value of K, this is now the equation. Can you all see that? Okay, then they tell you to find the time if he scores 60 marks. So when the time is equals to 60, m will be equals to 85 over 12 times 60, right? Then m will be, hold on, is there something? Oh, sorry, my bad. Sorry, okay. I made a careless mistake. Sorry. Can you guys look here? There is square. Okay, sorry, I didn't see the square just now. So over here, you must square. Because m is directly proportionate to square of number of hours. So you must take the number of hours and square over here. Okay, so my t value, this thing is wrong already. Okay, this one should be 85 over 144. And then this one should be 85 over 144. All right, but the sequence of steps is still correct. Always solve for k first. Okay, then after you find k, you plug it back into the original equation. And then you sub in t. Sorry, you sub in, sorry, it's m, not t, my bad. Hold on. Give me a moment. Okay, hold on. Sorry, just now I say wrongly also. It is sub in m equals to 6 because it's the marks that is 6. Sorry about that. Okay. Then afterwards, you can solve for t squared. Okay. And then you will, okay, never mind. Let me write down the working. 85 divided by 144. Hold on. Sorry about that. Give me a moment. Okay. T squared will be equals to 17828 over 17 according to the calculator. So t is t squared. To get t, you need to square root, right? So technically, there are two answers. Okay, technically there are two answers because there's plus and minus. So it's plus minus 10.1 if you correct to 3SF. But this question, what is t? T is time. So do you think you can accept the negative answer? No, so you only accept the positive answer. Okay, so this one is rejected. Can see? So here's the solution. So he spends 10.1 hours studying. Okay, this one changed. Okay, did they say find the number of hours corrected to nearest hour? Okay, never mind. Keep the answer as 10, but let's change the question. Corrected to nearest hour. Because if they never tell you corrected to nearest hour, by default, your answer should be 3SF. Okay? Is everyone clear for this question? Okay, some of you might ask me, okay, and just now I said something wrongly, sorry about that. This question, you are technically finding the number of hours, right? How come I know to let m alone be this side? Why not t squared? Why can't I do this instead? You can, okay? This is also correct. It's an alternative method. So long as your equation is formed correctly, using inverse or direct proportion definition, your answers will be the same. Okay, let me prove it to you. Let's use this method instead. Okay, actually, this one is better, the one that I just write down. Why is this better? Because the question is asking you to find the number of hours. If the question is asking you to find hours, can you see the thing that you want to find? It's always better to make it alone on the left-hand side. That's why this is a better method. All right, so let's continue, use this method now and do the question. What is the next thing you need to do after writing down this statement? Is to find the value of k. When t is 12, okay, m is equals to 85. So this is the next step. Then afterwards, you need to solve for k, right? K is 12 squared over 85, which is 144 over 85. Notice here that your k is different. The two methods, your answer for k is slightly different, but that is okay, okay? When you do a different method, the k can be a different answer, but don't worry, the final answer will definitely still be the same if it's correct, okay? So when you have a k over here, now this is the equation, 44 over 85 times m. They ask you to find the time when the score is 60 marks. So we sub in when m equals to 60, t squared equals to 144 over 85 times 60. Okay? When you key this into your calculator and you square root it, you will definitely get the same answer. Okay? You all try keying in this to the calculator. You will get the same answer. Is that clear? Do y'all know why both methods are acceptable? Okay, the most important thing here as a recap is, first of all, when it's direct or indirect proportion, you have to write the K statement first. Okay, the one that is printed is the same as the one that is written in pen. Okay, it's just that the alphabet used are different. Okay, first of all, you need to create this K equation. How come I know it's like that? It's because the question say P square or time square is directly proportionate to the marks. So the marks we don't need to square, but the time we need to square. Okay, and then because it's direct proportion, that's why it's K times F. Afterwards, you always need to go and solve for K first. How do you solve for K? You look for information in the question. The question tell you when time is equals to 12, max is equals to 85. That's why we know we can sub T equals to 12. We can sub max equals to 85 into the question, and then we can solve for K. After we solve for K, we plug it back into the original equation so that we can have an equation whereby K is known. Is that clear? Okay, then from that, we can definitely go and solve whatever we need to solve already. All right, so if you need to copy down anything, feel free to do it right now. I would highly recommend you copy the one in pink. The one in pink is better because the question is asking you for time. So time should be better alone on the left-hand side. Anyone has any questions? Okay, if don't have, can you all continue with the other questions? Okay, the next question is another inverse or direct proportion. Okay, I'm running super slow. Okay, a lot behind time. So just a heads up, we might not have enough time to finish the mock exam paper, but don't worry, that one I will upload the answers online. Okay, for those of you physically here, if you need the Google link, you can let me know. Okay. Because I don't want to rush through the notes. All these topics are quite important and will definitely come out in your end of year exam. Okay, can you all do the next question on your own right now? Don't just wait for answers. Okay, please lower down your volume as well. Okay, those online, you're very quiet. Okay, for this question, work example 2. They say, given that y plus 3 is directly proportionate to x, can you see this is the first step for sure? Because it is not y is directly proportionate to x, it's y plus 3 is directly proportionate to x. Okay, so this should be equals to kx. Common mistake is students don't write the plus 3. They think it's wrong, but no, write the plus 3. Are you guys able to continue this question on your own? If you need help, let me know. Oh, they give you the answer already. Oops, okay, that shouldn't happen. Looks like you guys have the answer for some of your worksheet. The answers are printed out. Okay, that's not supposed to happen, all right? But here you go. But do you all understand the answer key? Okay, so you definitely need to go and solve for K first. The question tells you the sum of values of y when x is equals to 4 and x equals to 7 is 49. So same thing, we sub this into the equation. That's why here is a 4. We sub this into the equation. That's why here is a 7. The sum of y means these two add up together must be equals to 45. Can see that? From there, you can find for the value of 11k and therefore k. But can you see the more important thing here? You definitely need to write this first. Then use information in the question to solve for k. Here is the information in the question. You can get the value of k at the end of the day. All right? So after you find the value of k, you sub it back into the original equation. Then from there, you can definitely do the question already. They want the value of y, right? So therefore, you put x equals to 9 into the equation. You can get the answer for y. Is that clear? Anyone has any problems with this question? Don't have, Okay, for work example 3, I will go through. Do you have the answer for work example 3? Do you all have it? Okay, that's not supposed to happen, but let's go through. So, over here, they tell you a factory got 15 machines, produce 200 bottles in 8 hours. Find the time needed for 9 machines to produce 600 bottles. Over here, for this question, do you all notice that there are 3 variables? Instead of the other 2 questions, there was only 2 variables. For 3 variable question, there is another way you can do the question. Okay, let's go through the same method that we used previously. This one. Okay, how come I know the equation is this thing over here? Because you got to think about it logically. Okay, do you think when there is more machine, okay, when there is more machine, do you think the time will be lower or higher? The time taken to make the bottles. If there's more machine, do you think you need more time or do you need less time? Less, right? Okay, so if it's less time, can you see machine hours? Highlight wrongly. Can you see number of machines and number of hours are inversely proportional? Therefore, time and number of machines. Machine is at the denominator. Can see? Now, over here, do you think that bottle and time is directly proportional or indirectly proportional? If you have more bottles needed, you need more time, right? Can see? More bottle need more time. Can you see it's a direct proportional relationship? Okay. Why is it direct? Because you need more bottles, naturally you need more time to make them. That's why over here, the bottle is directly proportional. Okay, so after you create this equation, same thing. Use whatever information you have to find the value of K. Okay, you can make K the subject, then you sub in T, M, and B, you will be able to get that K is equals to 0.6. From there, you can sub in the rest of the information, 9 machines into the machine, okay? And then 600 bottles into the bottle, and you found the K value just now, you can find the total time taken. Is that clear? Any questions? Okay, for those online who just joined, okay, give me a moment. I see that some of you need the link again. Give me a moment. Okay, or if anyone can help me send the link also can. Oh, never mind, I got it. Okay, please lower down your volume. Okay, this is the typical method that you will do this question. But whenever there are 3 variables, okay, whenever there are 3 variables, there is another way you can do the question. It's literally a bit like I power, okay? Over here, there is an additional pink color method. Okay, feel free to copy it down if you want to. So let me go through this method. This method only works when you have 3 variables. How would you do this question? Okay, 15 machines, you have 200 bottles, and it takes 8 hours. You want 9 machines and 600 bottles. Can you see you can convert 15 machine to 9 machine by taking 15 divided by 15 times 9? From 15 to become 9, you need to take 15 divided by 15 times 9. Can see that? Okay, this one is just math. 15 divided by 15 is 1. 1 times 9 is equals to 9, right? Okay, why are we doing this? It's so that we can get 9 machines. We are inching closer and closer to the question. But when you go from 15 to 9 machines, your bottles will also decrease in number, right? Because if you have lesser machines, you will have lesser bottles. How to get 112 bottles left? Same thing. You take 200 divided by 15 times 9. You should get 102. Okay? So, right now, you have your 9 machines settled. Okay, you have your 9 machines settled. But you want 600 bottles. Okay? Actually, right, over here, you can skip this step. You don't even need this step. How do you get from 120 bottles to 600 bottles? Okay, 600 divided by 120 is 5, right? So can you see you need 5 times the number of bottles from 120 to 600? Therefore, you also need 5 times the amount of time, given that the machines are still the same number. Can see? So this is another way you can do this question, by I power and comparing the respective values. This only works when there are 3 variables, okay? Is that clear? Hannah? Okay, so please read the answers over here and try to understand what's happening. Okay, why is it emphasizing directly proportionate here? It's because if it's directly proportionate, if something is divided by 15, the other one must also be divided by 15. But if it's inversely proportionate, if something is divided by 5, something divided by 15, the other one should be times 15 instead. Okay? Okay, some of you look a bit confused. Let's go through the other method. Okay, I'm going to go through the one written in handwriting so that maybe you guys can copy this one as well. So we start off with the original amount, okay? 15 machine, 200 bottles, and 8 hours. How come over here I have 600 bottles all of a sudden? It's because the goal is to have 600 bottles, right? So 200 to 600, you need 3 times more the bottles, can see? Therefore, the time will also be 3 times more because we are assuming that the machine number remains the same. Okay? Everyone clear for these 2 steps? Now, okay? We want 15 machines or we want 9 machines? You want 9 machines, right? So to find 9 machines, can you see you are taking 15 divided by 15 times 9? 15 divided by 15 gives you 1. 1 times 9 gives you 9. Can you see it's divided by 15 times 9? Okay, but how come here it's the opposite? Why is it divided by 9 instead of times 9? And why is it times 15 instead of divide by 15? It is because machine and time is inversely proportionate. Why is it inversely proportionate? Because with more machines, or okay, in this case, with less machine, 15 to 9 is a decrease in number of machines, right? With less machine, can you see your time should be increasing? That's why it is indirectly or inversely proportional. If you simply take 24, divide by 15 times 9, you will get an even smaller hour. You should expect the hours to be increasing, right? Less machine, more time. That's why it is the reverse. Instead of dividing by 15, it should be times 15, because with lesser machine, there's more time. Then when you get from 1 machine to 9 machine, it's increase of number of machines, right? So time will go down with the same rate. Is that clear? Okay, if this comes out for your WA or your end of year exam, now you know how to do. Okay, this is a very common Sec 2 question. Let me repeat. 3 variable is super common because the exam is supposed to stun you, right? If you are so used to 2 variables, suddenly you see a 3 variable, you might not be able to do. So this is a very common final year exam question. Okay, end of year. Okay, 2 different methods, both of them work. But this method over here only works when there are 3 variables. Okay, let me move on. This one is the answer provided to you. The next page. The answers are provided. Okay, for those online, I don't think the answers are provided. So can you guys try on your own? For those of you physically here, even though the answers are provided, can you go and do it on your own first, then compare with the answer key answer? Okay, it's not supposed to be printed out. Okay, do you all know why this is the first step over here? Because R is directly proportionate to L. Okay, R is directly proportionate to L and inversely proportionate to not D, but square of D. Can see? So if it's directly proportionate to the square of D, inversely proportionate, D square must be in the denominator. Okay, then what is your goal here? You want to solve for K. It's always like that. You want to find for the value of K. So are you able to solve for K given the information over here? Can, right? Okay, you can sub in the different unknown values and then you can solve for K. K is equals to 6. Then now, can you do part I and II? You should be able to do, all right? Part I and II, they ask you for part I, express R in terms of L and D. So it means you need to make R the subject. Technically, you're already done. Okay? Then for II, they ask you to calculate the value of R when L is 50 and 2. So same thing, you already have K. Therefore, you just plug in L and D into the equation, then you can solve for R. No? What do you mean just combine? Okay, I just mentioned it is over here, right? Yes, you don't put them together just for the sake of it. It is because direct proportion is always K times the variable. Then inverse proportion is always the denominator of K. That's why it's over here. It's just information that you need to make sense together. You have to put them together. How are you going to hold on? Okay, I know what you're saying because of this, right? You might think it's like that, right? Yeah, something like that, right? But if you have these two equations over here, and you have three variables given to you at a go, can you see your K value will be different if you have two equations? The K value is supposed to be a single value that makes sense throughout. That's why, okay, let me repeat. Can you see, to solve for K, you need to take R over L. Yes, you combine them, you combine them because they gave you the information together, first of all. And the second thing is, if you do not combine them, like you do this instead, you will get two different K values. And one single question should only have one K value. That's why you cannot split them up. Okay, but it's a good attempt that you're trying. Is everyone clear with this question over here? Okay, okay, you guys have to lower down your volume. For question 5, is the answers provided? Okay, it shouldn't be provided. Don't know why the printout is provided. Okay, so they tell you that P is inversely proportionate to the square root of the demanded quantity. So immediately you can write that K equation already, right? Then afterwards, you solve for K. Okay? Over here, even though the answers are provided, please take a look at the presentation. Okay, this one is another common mistake. I cannot emphasize this enough. K over here is not an exact value, right? It is a never-ending decimal. Can see that? But please make sure you write more than 3SF because this is an intermediate step. Okay, if you only write K as 3SF, later on for the later parts, you will get rounding off error. All right, so please make sure you go and leave more SF so that your K over here, when you use it later on, it will still give you the correct answer. Okay, how come I know I can stop at 0.03? The final answer say nearest dollar. So nearest dollar is 0 dp, right? Your intermediate working must always be 2 digits more accurate, at least 2 digits more accurate than your final answer. That's why over here is until 2 dp because final answer is 0 dp. But take note, okay, having more decimal place, or even if you use the square root version, 3000 over square root 12, this is even better. The more accurate your K, the more likely the answer here won't be affected by rounding off error. Okay? Now, let me go through part B. Part B is another very, very common exam question, okay? I guarantee you, you read the answer key from the notes, you also don't understand what's going on. So please listen up. For part B, they ask you to find, sorry, BII. Is it BII? Hold on. Yeah, BI and II. Okay, let's do part BI first. Hold on. This one should be BI. This one should be II. Okay, so for BI, they tell you a luxury watch. Please lower down your volume. Luxury watch experience a 300 increase in demand. Okay, for 300 percentage increase in demand, it's actually become 4Q. Okay, this is very important. Please take note. Why is it 4Q? Because initially, the luxury watch is at 100%. But because of a 300% increase in demand, can you see it's 100 plus 300? That's why it is 400% at the end of the day. Therefore, P is 400, the new Q is 400% of the old Q. That's why there is 4Q over here. Can see that? Okay? From here, this is now your new equation. Okay? If this is your new equation, you can write this as a new P. Okay? You can don't write the new as well, that is fine. Okay? But I would recommend you to put a new here so that you can differentiate the OP and the new P. Okay? So, for part I, is everyone clear with why is it 4Q in the denominator? Okay, let's move on to II. II is a super common exam question. They ask you for percentage decrease. Okay, there's a lot of important things over here, so please listen up. Percentage increase or percentage decrease is technically a percentage change, right? Okay, for percentage change, this is always going to be the formula. Okay, this triangle over here represents change. It's a short form notation of the word change. Percentage change is always going to be equals to mu minus O over O. Let's take a look at the answer key. Percentage change in price. Can you see this is the new percentage? Sorry, this is the new price and this is the old price. Mu minus O over O. Can you see it fits the formula? That's why this is correct, okay? Because this thing over here fits the formula for percentage change. So, how do you simplify this? You can take out biggest common factor from the numerator and you realize that, hey, it actually cancels out with your denominator. 1 over square root 4 is just equals to 2. Just equals to half. Because square root 4 is a 2, right? So it's equals to half. Half minus 1 is equals to negative half. Negative half percent is technically negative 50%. Can see that? The percentage change is negative 50%. But have we answered the question? No. Okay? The question asks you for percentage decrease. Okay? Percentage decrease. So if the percentage change is negative 50, can you see that the percentage change is actually 50%? Sorry, percentage decrease is actually 50%. You cannot have the negative sign in your answer because they are asking for percentage decrease. The word decrease already accounts for the negative sign. Is that clear? Can? Okay, this is another very common exam question. Okay, for those of you in my class, if this is in your end of year exam, you'll get it wrong, you'll get it. Okay, this is very, very common. They like to use the word percentage decrease because they know that you will use this answer instead, but you should remove the negative sign. Okay, and percentage change formula, this is always correct. Please write down this formula somewhere if you know that this topic is going to come out. All right. Is everyone clear with work example 5? Can I know some of you got the paper with the answer key provided, but please still understand the steps. Okay, having the answer is not very useful. Understanding the answer and recreating the sequence of steps in your actual exam is more important. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Hold on, no more already, right? It is the last question of the notes. Okay, great. Then can we move on to the mock exam paper? Okay, this is the last question, right? Okay. Let's move on to the mock exam. By right, okay, most of you should have finished this in school. Before attending the class. Okay, but if you need some time to do the question, go ahead and do so. Okay, but I will have to go through at a normal pace, like I cannot slow down. Okay, some of you mentioned about the recording, like you all want the recording. If I can upload the recording, I will upload it into the Google Drive, but I cannot guarantee you that I can upload it there. The admin might probably upload it maybe somewhere on YouTube, or they will send you the link directly. Okay, so you all take note of that. Okay, question 1. Okay, before we even look into the mock exam, here are some useful tips you can take before you even start your school exam paper. Whenever you do an end of year exam, especially for your mid-year exam or your end of year exam, not your WA, because your WA is very topical, right? For example, for WA3, usually you will not be tested the entire year. You will only be tested like the few chapters surrounding the W, right? WA. But for end of year exam and mid-year exam, it's always testing you the entire thing that you have learned. That's why it gets very confusing. Because one exam paper got so many topics, right? You will confuse yourself when you take the exam. So a useful tip whenever you're doing an exam is, before you even try to do the question, you should identify which chapter is it. Okay, for example, this question over here, question 1, after you read it, you should know that it's a Trigo and Pythagoras theorem question. Okay, because there's a right angle triangle. Can see that? Okay, why is it useful to identify the chapter? Since you know it's Trigo and Pythagoras theorem, okay, usually, for example, inverse proportion will not come out in this chapter, right? So you can literally throw away anything you know about inverse proportion away for this question and focus on the formulas that you have learned for Trigo and Pythagoras theorem. Okay, identifying the chapter of the question first will help you zoom into the formulas you need to use for the question. Okay, now it might not seem that important, but when you reach upper sec, okay, you will realize that this tip is very useful, especially since you have so many chapters, sec 1 to sec 4. Okay, so for this question, here are the solutions. Okay, for question A, B, C, here are the full solutions. For question A, they ask you for AX. Can you see that this is a Trigo question? Okay, why is it a Trigo question? For now, you always use trigonometry or Pythagoras theorem when you see a right angle triangle. And because you are given an angle, you should use Trigo. Any questions for question A? Okay. Have? Don't have? Okay, this one is it. Okay, let me go through. So part A, everyone, okay? Then I'll move on to part B. For part B, they ask you for sine x, z, y. So it's this angle over here, right? But they want the sine version. Do you think they're asking you to find the angle? No, okay, they're not asking you to find the angle. That's the common mistake. A lot of students will try and find this angle for question B, but they are asking you for sine of the angle. Can you see sine is tuaka? So, OH, right? So you should be looking at the opposite over hypotenuse. You know the hypotenuse is 25. Hold on, give me a moment. Is there something wrong with the answer key? Or did I write wrongly? Hold on, oh, sorry, I write wrongly. Is this one? Hold on. Sorry, X. Oh, sorry, highlight the wrong angle, no wonder. Okay, if I did anything wrongly, feel free to let me know. So this is the angle that you're actually interested in. X, Y, Z. Sorry for the confusion just now. Can you guys agree that this is the hypotenuse? Can you agree that this is the opposite? That's why it's 7 over 25. Anyone here don't know why this is the opposite? Everyone know? Okay, because this is your angle of interest. The line opposite the angle is literally called the opposite. The longest line is always going to be the hypotenuse. And then the line the angle is on is always going to be the adjacent. That's how you should view it. Okay, so someone online asks, can you use Pythagoras theorem to find XA? Cannot. Okay, why cannot? Because, okay, some questions, there's more than one method. You can use Trigo or Pythagoras theorem, but this question cannot. Because if you want to use Pythagoras theorem to find XA, you need this length over here. Can see? You don't have this length over here. If you have this length and you have this length, yes, you can find XA using Pythagoras theorem. But you don't have the hypotenuse, you don't have AZ. So if you don't have AZ, it is easier to use trigonometry to find AX. Okay, if you use algebra, you can find AX using Pythagoras theorem, but I don't advise you to do that. Why? Because you will have to let AX equals to X, then maybe X plus 18.9 square plus 7 square equals to 25 square. Okay, this you can use Pythagoras theorem if you bring in algebra, but it's a lot more confusing. I rather you guys use trigonometry to do part A. Is that clear? Is that clear? Not clear? Let me know after class, okay? Now, they ask you to find angle XVY for part C, which is this angle over here. You are already provided 7 and 25, right? You are already provided the adjacent of angle XZY, which is 7, and 25, which is the hypotenuse. All right, then from here, you can use, you can just use cosine inverse to find the angle. Is everyone clear for part A to C? Yes, no? Okay, feel free to take a screenshot of the solutions if you guys need to. Because yes, I will upload the solutions, but I'm not sure if I'll upload it anytime soon, okay? Because I need to make sure all the Sec 2 events are over, then I can upload. No bisector also can. Later I'll go through. First triangle formula. Half times base times height. Okay, lower down your volume, guys. Later the online people cannot hear me. Okay, so for part D, they ask you for shortest distance. Yeah, sure. Okay, for part D, they ask you for shortest distance. This is another super commonly tested exam question. Please make sure you know how to do it. Whenever they ask you for shortest distance, it is always the same thing as perpendicular distance. Okay? Shortest distance from X to YZ is going to be this one over here. Okay? This is the shortest distance. The shortest distance is also going to be the perpendicular distance. How do you find this distance? You should use area. Why? Can you see that the area of this triangle is going to be half times xy times xz? Can see that? Half times xy times xz to get the area of the triangle. Can you all see? But to find the area of this triangle, you could also possibly take half times perpendicular height times this base O as well. Can you all see that? If the area, let me repeat, area is going to be half times height times base. But if you rotate the triangle and use a different base, we use 25 as the base instead. Can you see that this is the base, this will be the corresponding height, and this is the height that you want to find, the shortest perpendicular distance, okay? So, can you see if you have the area of this triangle? You take the area, divided by 25, divided by half. You can get the height. Can you all see that? Okay? And this height is going to be the perpendicular distance, yes? And it's also going to be the shortest distance. Is that clear? Okay? This is a super commonly tested exam question. So do make sure you know how to do this question. Okay? And another thing over here, take note of this pink highlight in the answer. Can you see that this thing over here that is highlighted is actually the length of XA? But you use more than 3SF. Because the final answer for part A is 3SF, that's okay. But workings, you cannot use the 3SF answer. You must always have more accurate numbers. So 5SF or more. Okay, this is a very common mistake. You all just use 3SF and move on. It's very, you will realize that it's very wasted because actually the answer is correct. But because you use 3SF for intermediate working, your final answer, you have rounding off error, then you have a few marks deducted off your answers. Okay, please make sure you know how to use the more accurate answers. Okay, excuse me. Everyone okay? Hannah, any questions so far? No. Okay, then let's move on. Now, for question 2, it's a math scale question. Okay, for those of you who have not learned math scale in school, you can ignore me for a bit. Okay, but most of you should have learned math scale in school already. They tell you that this is the, okay, please lower down your volume. This is the area in actual, and this is the area on the map. They ask you, given that the floor plan is drawn to scale 1:n, find the value of n. Take note, this question, they gave you the area. Okay, they gave you the area, but 1:n is always going to be distance. Okay, it is going to be length. It is not going to be area. So you cannot just say, oh, just divide by 4 lah. If you simply divide by 4, Okay, this is important. It's a common mistake. Lower down your volume. If you simply take area, you will take 1 cm square is to this one over here. Please lower down your volume, guys. Getting very loud. Okay, so over here, can you see that this thing is the 1:n for area? Because you're simply just dividing by 4. But 1:n is always going to be a distance ratio. So it's not an area ratio. You cannot simply just divide by 4 at the end of the day. You need to convert this area ratio first into your distance ratio. How do you do that? Do you agree? Okay, let's look at the working. The answer is 25,000 for part I. The answer for II is 200 for those of you who want to find the answer. Okay, can you see that this is the area ratio? From area to distance is going to be a square root. That's why you square root over here. But when you square root, please take note, there are two things you are square rooting. You are square rooting the value. You are also square rooting the units. Okay, so from 4 cm square, you can get 2 cm. Cos 4 square root is 2. Cm square root is you literally remove the 2, becomes cm. Is that clear? Then on the other side, 0.25, you square root it, you key into your calculator, you will get a 0.5. And then when you square root km square, okay, you will get km. So this is 2 cm is to 0.5 km. But the question 1 is to n, right? So you need to divide throughout by 2. But are you done after you divide throughout by 2? Sorry, write the thing wrongly. It's here. Okay. Besides dividing throughout by 2, you also must make sure. Sorry, give me a moment. Okay, hold on. Okay, can you see if you change let me repeat. If you divide throughout by 2, that's not complete. You also need to convert km into cm. Because it is 1:n, both of them must be the same unit. So cm to km is wrong. You need to convert both to cm. Do you all know how to convert km to cm? Okay, km to cm, right? You cannot jump immediately. You should think of km to meter first, then meter to cm. Okay, for example, 5 km is equals to 5,000 meters, right? But 5,000 meters, you know that 1 meter is 100 cm. So 5,000 meter, you add 20 at the back to give you cm. That's how you should convert. You shouldn't think of km to cm immediately. You should use meters as your middleman to help you with the conversion. Can see? Okay, so this is how you get the answer. But you're not done because they ask you to find the value of n. To find the value of n, you need to go and write down n is equals to 25,000. Okay, you must explicitly answer the question. This is another common mistake. You think you get this, you're done. No, okay, please answer the question. They want the value for n. All right, so whatever I went through is one method. Let's take a look at another method. The other method, right, is actually the same thing. It's just the sequence of steps is a bit different. The other method over here is instead of my first step, converting area to distance, I make my area as 1 first. I divide throughout by 4 first. Then after I divide throughout by 4, then I convert it to distance. Both of them are equally correct. I'm just trying to tell you here that your working can look different, but when the idea is the same, your answer is going to be the same. Okay? Is that clear? Take note, this question, another common mistake is, they tell you they want the ratio 1:n. It is always going to be map is to actual. Okay? Never give your ratio in the other direction. Actual is to map. By default, it's always going to be map then actual, unless the question state otherwise. Okay? Is that clear? Question I, okay? Can, Okay, so here's the solution for part B. Part B, they say actual distance is they want you to find the actual distance, and they gave you the floor plan. They tell you it's 0.8. So you just need to use the ratio that you have found on top, change the 1 cm to 0.8 cm first, then you will get the corresponding actual cm. But take note, they want the answer in meters, right? So you need to convert your cm into meter. So your answer is actually 200 meters. Okay, same thing. You cannot leave this as your final answer. You have to explicitly answer the question. Is that clear? Everyone all right? Okay. Okay. Let's move on to the next question. Everyone ready, right? Okay, let's move on. So the next question is another, sorry, hold on. There's a 1B, 2B, sorry, my bad. Okay, 2B over here is a percentage question. Can you see, because they literally tell you got 60%, it's going to be a percentage question. Okay, Mr. Lim sold a vintage bag at 3,400 and made a profit of 60%. Do you agree that 3,400 is 160%? Do you agree? Because after profiting 60%, then you have the cost over here. So this thing over here is 160%. Now, let's read the question. Find the price at which he bought the vintage bag. Can you see the price that he bought the vintage bag is going to be 100%? Because this is 160%. So you just take this divided by 160 times 100, you should get the answer. All right, so here's the answer for part I. Is everyone okay with part I? Can, Now, part II is the more challenging one. They say, find the percentage increase in selling price if he wished to profit 30% more than what he profits now. First of all, you need to go and find out how much he profits now, because you want to find the 30% more of how much he profit compared to now. So the profit he got now, this is the answer. Okay, why is this profit the answer? It is because he sold this bag at 3,400, but he bought it at the original price of 2,125. So when you minus it, that is the profit price. Can see? After you get the profit price, can you see that you want to go and find the desired profit price, which is 30% more? So this thing over here is going to be 100% of the profit, but the desired profit is 130%. So you need to take the profit, divide by 100 times 130, which is the same thing as 1.3. Okay, because 130, sorry, let me write this thing down now. This thing divided by 100 times 130, isn't it the same as this? Then isn't this thing 1.3? That's why you can say this is 1.3. Can see? Okay, cannot see, ask me after class. Now, since this is the desired profit, we need to answer the question. Percentage increase in selling price. If this is the desired profit, you want to go and add it to the original price to find the new selling price. Okay, let me repeat. Since this is the desired profit, okay, it means that you want this much now. But you need to go and figure out the new selling price to get this profit, which is the original cost plus the new desired profit. Can see? And then after you get this number, this is the new selling price. But is the question asking you for new selling price, or is it asking you for percentage increase in selling price? Percentage increase, right? So remember just now that formula that I taught you? Percentage change is always going to be new minus O over O times 100%. Right? Still remember that formula, percentage change? Percentage increase is technically percentage change. It's just that your percentage change must be positive because percentage increase, right? That means percentage change is positive. Is that clear? Okay, so you plug into the formula mu minus O over O times 100%, you will get the percentage increase. Is that clear? Give you guys some time to digest and ask me any questions if you do. The tricky part about this question is you need to identify all the intermediate steps on your own. All right, because you cannot immediately find percentage change. You must first find the profit, then find the desired profit, then find the original selling price plus the desired profit for the new selling price. Then after you find the new selling price, you compare it to the old selling price to get the percentage change. Okay, this question is just very lengthy because there's a lot of steps, but if you can break it down on your own, it is not that difficult. Okay, sure? Y'all look very confused. Okay, I'll give you guys maybe a 3 minutes break, okay, because y'all look damn tired. Okay, 3 minutes break, but please come back after this 3 minutes because I have a lot to cover. Those, if you have any questions, feel free to take these 3 minutes to ask me. Come back after 3 minutes, huh? If y'all don't come back, I'm gonna continue. Do what?
BI, like how do the hands part?
BI, sorry, give me a moment. Hold on, for those online, got your question. I think there might be a typo error, okay? Give me a moment. Okay, if you rewrite this as n plus 1, can you see it will be plus 19? No? Okay, do you have a pencil?
Bracket and plus.
Yes, do you have a pencil? You let me a pencil first. Okay, sorry, let me answer questions for those physically here first. I'm using my glass. Okay, this thing, okay, and then you put a plus 5. Can you see that this thing over here? Okay, sorry, give me a moment. Okay, let me rephrase it. You need to, okay, if you squeeze, okay, if you squeeze, okay, can you guys lower down your volume? Okay, I know it's break, but there are still people online. Sorry, for those online, let me answer your question now. Sorry about that. There's a typo error. Okay, good that the person online spotted. Okay, I will go through when more people are back. Okay, I'll go through at 8:30. Okay, there's an error in this question. Thank you for spotting. Wait, okay, I finally have a lot of questions. Yes, okay, those of you who say that this is wrong, you're right, okay, there's a typo error, sorry. The person typing this did not spot it, but I will explain more later. Okay, Ethan, I will answer your question after class. If you can wait lah. All right, because I need to see the formatting. Because yeah, it's a bit, when you type out, it's a bit hard for me to visualize. Let me take a look at it after class, okay? Okay. Okay, please settle down. All right, some of you are very sharp-eyed, or because you did this question on your own, you notice that there are careless mistakes in the answer key. Okay, very good. Thank you for spotting. All right, so over here, there's a careless mistake. Here, the answer should be 1,657.5. Okay, so here the answer will change accordingly. Let me change it right now. Okay, sorry, I didn't spot it as well. Okay, please lower down your volume, guys. Okay, so this one will change as well. Okay, so the correct fraction should be, sorry, correct percentage should be 11.3% instead, if you correct the 3SF. But because the answer is rather nice, okay, this is the final answer. Okay, sorry about that, didn't spot it. But the idea to do the question is more important, okay? Now, okay, I'm going to continue. So for this question, BII, there was an error. Okay, some of you spotted, great. Okay, so over here, this is the corrected answer. Is everyone clear? Can, if you guys spot any mistakes in the answer key, really feel free to let me know, okay? I won't be angry one. Now, let's take a look at question 3. Question 3 is going to be a statistics question because you literally see mean, median, mode. Okay, so it's confirmed going to be that chapter lah, okay? So, does everyone here know what is mean and median and mode? Okay, be very careful. Median is where some students get confused. For example, if I tell you that there are 5 numbers, okay? These are the 5 numbers. Okay, some of you might tell me that the median is 5. And that is wrong. Okay, you cannot say the median is 5 from here because you always need to reorder it from in ascending order. Then you find the middle value. Okay, it so happens that the middle value is 5 lah. All right, but the idea here is I want you guys to know that you cannot just say, oh, the middle is median. No, you must rearrange it on your own from smallest to biggest. Okay, is that clear? Okay, so let me go through some examples before I go through the question. Let me change the thing up. For this question, do you guys agree that the median is 5? Okay, but if I add another 7, now there are 6 numbers. Do you all know how to find the median? Okay, when there are even numbers of objects, the median is always the middle 2, add up together, divide by 2. So the median is 5.5. Okay, so be very careful. When there are odd number of objects, like this one on just now, when I have 5 numbers, the median is just the middle odd number. Okay, but when there are 6 objects, it's an even number of objects, right? There is no true middle. So you must take the 2 numbers at the middle, add them up together, and get the average. Can? Okay, okay. For this question, the answer key should be printed out for you. Is it printed out? Okay, when it's supposed to be printed out, it's not printed out. Okay, so let me go through. Okay, for those of you who need to copy down the solutions, copy it down later. Okay, understanding it is more important. I'll give you guys to take photo, then you can copy at home. I rather you guys understand what's happening. They tell you that there is a randomly rolled 8-sided dice. Okay, 8 sides. So it's not your 1 to 6. It's a special dice. Okay, you don't need to know how it looks like. You just need to know that it's from 1 to 8. Okay? Okay, I also don't know what shape lah. Then they tell you that the mean is 4.6, the median is 6, and the mode is 6. They tell you that the difference between the smallest and the largest is 7. And they tell you to find the result of the 5 rows. So they want every single row, okay? Not just the maximum number, not the minimum number. They want all 5, okay? So they tell you that this is the mean. But do you realize that the mean of the result is also, if you take the mean times the total number of rows, you will get the sum of the results. Can you see that? So you probably need to use this information. Then afterwards, they tell you that the smallest and the largest, the difference is 7. Can you see for 8-sided dice, the only time you can get a difference of 7 is when the smallest is maybe a 2, the biggest is, sorry, not 2. The smallest is a 1, and the BA, hold on, give me a moment. Hold on. Oh my gosh, sorry, there is a typo error in the question, Okay, can you guys change this to a 6? Sorry about that, there's a typo. Okay, all that shock faces. Okay, for those of you who did the question without the typo, okay, I'll go through later, but let me answer the question with the typo first. Okay, so they tell you that the difference is 6. For the difference to be 6, can you see the smallest value can be a 1, the biggest value must be a 7? Can see that? Okay, then if the difference is 6, another possible option is the smallest row is a 2, the biggest row is a 8. Can see that? Because if the smallest row is a 3, the biggest one need to be 9, right? Is there a 9 on the dice? Unless you bring in your own dice, okay? There's no 9 on the dice. So these are the only 2 options, okay? And then because they told you that 6 is also the median, it means that it must be literally the middle value of the 5 rows. So let's write out the few different scenarios, okay? First scenario is when the smallest is a 1, the biggest is a 7. Because just now we already identified the 2 possible scenarios, right? So the smallest is a 1, the biggest is a 7. So these are the possible number. Smallest 1, biggest 7, and then 6 is right smack in the middle because they told you that 6 is the median. But since 6 is also the mode, okay, since 6 is also the mode, can you see that 6 must appear more than once, right? So 6 can be here, but it must definitely appear more than once because it's the mode. It could also be like that. All of them are 6, but take a moment and read the question again. They told you that the sum of the results is 23 because the mean is 4.6. So if you take 4.6 times 5, it's 23. So it means that the last number cannot be a 6 because this number, when it adds up to all of it, must add up to 23. Can see that? Okay, so over here, this is the only possible solution for this particular case. Is that clear? Any questions? Okay, all right. For case 2, the second possible scenario is when the largest is a 8, the smallest is a 2, and the middle value is 6. Okay, because 6 is still the mean. Sorry, still the median. Then afterwards, because we know that 6 is the mode again, you know that 6 must appear again. All right. But if this number is a 6, can you see if you take 23 minus all the another number to get the other number, the last number is a 1, and that's not correct because the smallest row must be a 2. So how can you get another row that's a 1 that is smaller than the smallest row? So this is not a possible scenario. Therefore, your answer is this one over here. Okay, so some of you might be asking, if I get this answer already, why do I need this? Okay, it is possible to just stop here. But some of you might be a bit sway, okay? You guys might have did this one before you do this. Can see that? So you know that this is not the answer already. So you need to do the working to do the other method, to get the answer from the other method. Is that clear? Okay, sorry about that. There's a typo. So change the difference between the smallest and the largest to be a 6. Okay? Wow, now it's a lot quieter because you are busy eating. That's good. Okay, continue eating. Lower down your volume, all right? Okay, is everyone clear with this question? Can, okay, busy eating, but make sure you listen to the important things, okay? Don't waste your 3 hours here. Okay, let me go through the solutions if it's the wrong question. Hold on. Let me just, give me a moment. Let me stop sharing the screen for a while so that I can write out on our page. Hold on. Give me a moment. Let me share my screen again. Okay, let's go through the answer. For those of you who did the typo error question, I think it's still doable. Let's go ahead and see. Okay, I also don't know. Okay, so same thing. We know that the middle number must be a 6. Okay, then oops, what happened? Sorry, give me a moment. Excuse me. Let me share my screen again for those online. Okay, the middle value must be a 6, right? Okay, why is it not showing? For those physically here, give me a moment. Okay, sorry, hold on. Is the remote control anywhere? Oh, sorry, it's there. Hold on. Okay, for those online, give me a moment because the physical monitor is not turning on. Okay, sorry, give me about 1 minute. Okay, I guess you can have another short break. Yeah, give me a moment. Why are they eating? Because someone asked online why are they eating. Because you have free flow snacks at the tuition center. Okay? It's only free flow if you all don't finish the snacks. Right? Okay, sorry, because the monitor, I'm not sure if those online can see, it's not working, but it's loading right now. So give me a moment. Yes. Yeah, go toilet, go ahead. Okay, if anyone needs to go to the toilet, you can raise your hand and just go, okay? For those attending online, you all can obviously just go. Okay, yeah, the screen is up. Okay, let's continue with this question. So over here, if the question is the wrong question, okay, because I know some of you attempted it on your own, so I want to go through. For the difference to be 7, can you see there's only one possible option, 1 and 8. So the smallest number is going to be 1, the biggest number is going to be 8. Can see that? Then afterwards, remember, 6 is still the mode. So you must definitely have a 6. 1 here and 1, either 1 here or 1 here, or both of them are 6. But same thing, remember, the total is going to be, okay, 23. So the last number, you can find it taking 23 minus 8 minus 6 minus 6 minus 1. So the last number is a 2. So if you did the correct question, if you did the wrong question, okay, or the original question, here is the final solution. Okay? Is everyone clear with question 3? I'm losing my voice. Can everyone okay with question 3? Okay, then let me move on. Okay, for question 4, this question is a volume area question. Okay, by right, it's called mensuration, but you need to know it's testing you on volume and area. Okay, hold on. Let me just see how many questions do I have left. Okay, not a lot. We can probably finish this today. We end at 9:30, right? Okay, can't remember. Okay, so you guys are stuck with me for another 45 more minutes. Okay, so for question 4, can you see that? Okay, they tell you a lot of information. This is the shape. But they tell you if this is the radius of the big circle, it means that the whole diameter is 24. Then, because this is a hemisphere, therefore, this thing is also going to be 12. Okay? Now, let's answer the question. They tell you that water is poured into this hollow cylinder. Okay, you ask yourself logically, if water is poured into the cylinder, do you think there's a hole over here? Okay, if there is a hole, right, can you see the water will just go in and come out? So obviously there is no hole. Okay, you need to know this because or not, you cannot do the total surface area question. Okay, water is being poured in, so naturally there is no hole over here. Okay, sometimes you need to use a bit of common sense. Okay, then they ask you to find the total surface area of the toy in contact with water. Can you see the water the total surface area by the water is in contact is only going to be the area surrounding the cylinder and the base area over here. Can you all see that? Therefore, this is the solution. Okay, hold on now. Where's my answer? Over here. This is the answer for part A. Okay, let me just show you the answers for part A to B for those of you who have completed to check your work. Sorry. Where did I get my answer? Yes. Okay, you have to leave your answer in pi because read the question. Right? They say living in terms of pi. Okay, same thing. Please read the question carefully. If you live in 3SF, you will get all the working mark, but you won't get the answer mark. It's a bit wasted, right? Hey, here got 3 questions, immediately minus 3 marks. Very wasted, right? Okay, get it wrong here, don't get it wrong in exam. Okay, anyone here need me to go through part A? Do you guys know why is it 44 pi? Okay, Okay, some of you look a bit confused. Let me go through. So everyone agree the total surface area that the water can touch is the curved surface area of the cylinder and the base, right? To find the base surface area of the cylinder, it's just going to be pi r squared because it's a circle. But the r is a 2, okay? To find the curved surface area, okay, some of you, if you don't know that this is the formula, let me go through why. You ask yourself, this is very useful, okay? This shapy question will follow you until Sec 4. So anything with shapes are very commonly tested. So please make sure you know how to do this. So this thing over here, okay? Can you see that the cylinder, you imagine, you roll your paper and you form a cylinder. If you unfold your paper, isn't it just a rectangle? Can see that? Okay, you roll your, okay, let me use an example. Okay, sorry, don't know whose paper is this, but I'm gonna roll it. Okay, so over here, there is a piece of paper. If you roll it, wouldn't you form a cylinder? Right? Yes, no? Can you see the diameter of the circle is actually the length or the breadth of the rectangle? Can you all see that? Okay, those online, if you cannot see me, I'm showing you the rolled up paper. So if this is a cylinder, okay, it's a makeshift cylinder. If you open up the cylinder, isn't the diameter of the circle, okay, the base of the rectangle, okay, and this is the height of the cylinder, right? So can you see, to find the curved surface area of the cylinder is going to be diameter of circle times height, and diameter formula is pi d, okay, pi d. D is diameter lah. The diameter is 4. Okay, because diameter is always just 2 times the radius. So you can get the answer already. Everyone clear with part A? Okay, can. Then let's move on to part B. Part B, they ask you to find the total surface area of the toy. Okay, can you see the total surface area of the toy? There are a few parts. You have this area, you have this area on top, and you have the curved surface area, and also the area of the cylinder. Can you all see that? Okay, but this area at the top is going to be, sorry, this one over here is going to be the same one as this one over here. All right, so here's the solution. Let me go through the solution, what's happening. This one over here, okay, let me work backward. It's the curved surface area of the cylinder. Okay, so that is checked out. This one over here is the entire surface area of this thing. Okay, afterwards, this one over here is the curved surface area of the hemisphere. Do you guys know how to find curved surface area of hemisphere? Okay, it's a formula you just have to memorize. Okay, for a whole sphere, the total area of a whole, surface area of a sphere is just 4 times the circle. Hemisphere is half of it, right? So it's going to be 2 times. So hemisphere is equals to 2 pi r squared. But why did I keep writing the 3 pi r squared instead? This thing is 2, right? But hemisphere usually is a silk hemisphere. You will have another circle, right? That's why it's 3 pi r squared. Okay? If it's an open hemisphere, the curved part is 2 pi r squared. But if it's a solid figure, and here you also need the area, can you see it's 3 pi r squared? Because if this is 2 pi r squared, and you add in another circle, isn't it add 1 more pi r squared? 2 pi r squared plus pi r squared, isn't it 3 pi r squared? Can see? Okay, if you all are confused, let me know. Okay, so this question, we have got the hemisphere side down as well. Some of you might be asking me, how come don't need to minus this thing over here? Because this one over here, hold on, this one over here, this box is this area, right? But how come I don't need to minus the hollow thingy at the middle? It is because this hollow thing is also inside the figure. So can you see when you have the total surface area, is this piece, one piece, plus the curved surface area, another piece, plus the outside hemisphere, another piece. But there's a fourth piece, which is the interior bottom of the hemisphere. Can see that? So you need to add it back in. But if you add it back in, why can't you just see it as you don't even minus this at all? That's why there is no minusing of this circle over here. Is that clear? Okay, this is a shorter way. If you added the circle, if you minus away the circle and you add in the circle again, nothing is wrong, okay? But you're just wasting your time, all right? So here's the solution for part B. Everything okay? Okay, give you guys some time to copy or digest if you need to. Now, let's move on to part C. For part C, they tell you to find the volume of the toy. To find the volume of the toy is very straightforward. It's just the volume of the hemisphere minus away the volume of the cylinder. This one shouldn't be too big of an issue. Does anyone need me to go part C in detail? Don't need, huh? Okay, please take note to always write your units. Okay, volume is cm cube, not cm square. All right, sure? Can, those online, if you have any questions, just type it in the chat box. Okay, for part D and E, this question is more challenging. Okay, here are the answers. Okay, especially for part D. For part, okay, let you all write down the answer. I think some of you are still writing. Okay, you all can read part D and E first, for those of you who haven't tried the question. Okay, let's take a look at part D. For part D, they tell you that the toys are packed into a rectangular box, okay? And they ask you how many of these toys can fit in this rectangular box. This question, a common mistake students make is they find the volume of the box, then they divide by the volume of the toy to find the number of toys, and that is incorrect. Why is it incorrect? If you take total volume of the box divided by total volume of the toy, you are assuming the toy is like water like that. It can fill up every single spot in the box. But do you think the toy is liquid? Okay, you all learn science, right? What definite solid or whatever, okay? The definite mass, definite shape. Okay, do you think your solid toy can melt down and fill up the box equally? I mean, completely? No, cannot. So there will be space in the box, okay? So you must visualize how many of these toys you can stack into the box. Let's take a look at the box, okay? It is 60 cm, 48 cm, and 40 cm in terms of dimension. Can you see for this 60 cm, you can fit in two 24 cm figures? Because if you fit in a third one, it will exceed 60 cm. Can you all see that? Why 24? Because this is 24 cm wide. Can see? Now, it is 24 cm wide and 12 cm high. Why we use 24 and not 12 is because 60 cm is the biggest compared to 48 and 40. Can you see you should use the bigger side to put the bigger side of the toy? The bigger side of the box to put the bigger side of the toy. Can see that? Okay. Then over here, 48. 48, can you see you can put two 24 cm? Okay, this is the dimension of the toy. 24 cm, 24 cm, and then the height of the toy is 12 cm. Do you all agree? So this 48 cm, you can put two more toys. Okay? Then the height is 40. The height of the toy is 12 cm, right? So how many 12 cm toys can you put in this 40? You can put 3 12 cm toys because 3 12 cm is 36, right? And then afterwards, when it's 36 cm, if you put another one, it will exceed the height of the box already. So you cannot put in another figure. So can you see there is 2 times 2 times 3? Okay. Everyone agree that it's 2 times 2 times 3 for now? Okay. But why is it that the answer key got a +2 over here? Okay. Take note. Do you realize for this dimension, you are only using 48 cm, right? There is still 12 cm. 12 cm is a lot of space, right? Can you see if you rotate the toy? Okay, you rotate the toy. You can fit in 2 more at the edge of the 12 cm. Can you all see that? Okay, so the box okay, my drawing is very bad. Okay, actually this one is quite accurate already. This is the top view of the box. You can fit in all this. Okay, hold on, give me a moment. Hold on, sorry, there is something missing over here. There is one circle missing. Let me redraw. Okay, hold on, give me a moment. Was it correct? Oh yeah, it was correct. Sorry, my bad. So over here, this is the top view of the box, okay? So this is 48 cm, but this whole thing is 60 cm. So this 12 cm over here, you can put in the toy, but you need to rotate it. Can see that? Because the 12, the toy, if you rotate it, okay, like now you imagine this piece is facing you instead. From the top view, wouldn't it look like a semicircle? Then over here, you can put 2 more. Can see? So your total volume, sorry, the total number of toys will be 2 times 2 times 3. The 2 times 2 times 3 is to fill up this part of the box. Then you can add 2 more pieces at the side. That's why there's a +2. Is that clear? Okay. Yeah. Okay. Here is the 24 cm. Here is the 24 cm. The 3. This one is you imagine the toys stack up together because the height of the box is 40. So can you imagine this is just one layer? You can stack up 3 upwards. Can see? Okay. But some of you might be wondering next. This piece over here. This piece over here, can you see that you cannot have 3 times? You might be thinking, oh, this one I can have 3 layers. Why not this piece? Why not this piece have 3 layers? It's because now this piece, okay, if the circle is facing you instead, and then you see the semicircle at the top view, can you see can you see the height of this figure is going to be 24 cm high already? If you add another 24 cm on top, it's 48 cm. But the height is only 40 cm. You cannot add another layer on top. Can see? So therefore, this component, there is 3 layers. But this component over here, there's only 1 layer because there's not enough space for you to stack up another hemisphere on this layer. Is that clear? I'm going to assume yes. Alright, if it's not clear, let me know. Huh? Okay, then for part E, volume of empty space. Okay, so you already know got 14 figures. And for part C, you already found the volume of the toy. So you just take volume of the box minus 14 volumes of the toy, and you can get the final answer. This question, you can use 3SF because they never say leaving your answer in pi. Okay, by default, always leave your answer in 3SF. Is that clear? Okay, I will move on to the next question in a bit. So do let me know if you have any other questions. Okay, moving on. Now, this question is a stem and leaf diagram. Stem and leaf diagram is actually your statistics question. Okay, haven't copy finished. Okay, give you guys more time. Okay, I'm going to move on to the next page. So if you haven't copy finished, feel free to take a photo. Okay, no problem. All right. Hold on. Give me a moment. Okay, because for the sake of time, I want to go through question. Okay, question 6, I will not go through. Okay, question 6, I will not go through because. Okay, never mind. I will go through part C. Okay, so can you guys take a photo of question 6? I will not go through question 6A and B because it is very similar to whatever we have. Hold on now. Oh, cannot. It is not similar. Okay, I have to go through. Sorry, my bad. But you can take photo of it. How do you, okay, let me go through question 6 first since I'm already here. Sorry if I'm confusing anyone. Okay, we skip question 5 first. Question 6, they ask you to factorize the following algebraic expressions completely. Okay, let's take a look at part B. Okay, we look at part B first. We don't look at part A. Can you see for part B, there are 4 terms? Remember just now our quadratic factorization, there's only 3 terms, x squared, x, and the constant. But here, there are 4 terms, all right? So if there are 4 terms, it's a different approach already. Whenever you see 4 terms, tell yourself, you should use grouping first, okay? What is grouping? Okay, it's your Sec 1 topic. So over here, here's the first step for part B. Okay, so if you want to group, it's always 2 term by 2 term. Let's take a look at these 2 terms. What is the biggest common factor? X, right? If I take out x, it will be 2x plus y. Can see? Okay, then now let's take a look at the other 2 factors. Can you see the biggest factor over here is negative 3? If you take out negative 3, isn't it 2x minus y, plus y left over? Can see? Okay, common mistake for this question is students forget that it's a plus and you put a negative instead. Why is it a plus? Because if you bring in the negative, the plus will become a negative to get back your original negative. Okay? If it's a negative here, okay, it's wrong because if you bring in the negative, it will become a plus and it doesn't look like the original question anymore. Is that clear? Common mistake, Okay, I'm quite sure some of you made this mistake before. All right, so now, can you see that for these 2 terms, there's a common factor of 2x plus y? Then the leftover factor is x minus 3. Then you have factorized the equation. Okay, so this is the answer for part B. For part A, I will not go through because I don't think we have enough time. Part A, when you expand this out, you would also realize you could use grouping. Okay, but that's another method. Okay, maybe I will go through part A as well. Okay, sorry for going back and forth. Let's go through part C first. Okay, for part C, some of you might be super stuck. You're like, what's going on? There's only 2 things, and at a glance, there is no common factor. right? But don't forget, remember just now, I wrote out the 3 quadratic factors. Can you see for part C is actually the 3rd quadratic factor scenario? Okay, this is a very common exam question, part C, so please take note. Over here, for part C, can you see that? Okay, I will show the answers for part A again later, but let me go through part C. 16m power 4 minus 1, isn't it the same as 4m squared, whole thing square, minus 1 square? So isn't that your 3rd quadratic identity? Okay, so it's a plus b, a minus b, right? So m squared minus 1, 4m squared plus 1. Is that clear? Now, can you see that this is not the final answer? Okay, it's obviously not the final answer because I showed you already, right? But over here, you can use the quadratic identity again. Can you all see that? Because, okay, let me write this thing over here, isn't it 2m whole thing square minus 1? Okay, hold on, let me move this thing away. Okay, can you guys see? You can get this one and transform it to this instead. And can you see it's another a square minus b square? Because 1 square is still 1. Oops, use another color here. Can see? Okay, but this one over here, do you think you can further factorize it? Cannot, because it's a plus. Common mistake is students try and factorize this as well. Do not try and factorize this because there are no formulas for you to do this. Okay, so you can go and continue. Okay, maybe you want to try continuing on your own. I will continue and write down the solutions, but maybe you want to try from your end, on your own for this part. Okay. Okay, so you can break this down really easily. Is that clear? Okay, let me say again, this is a very common exam question. Okay, so please prepare yourself for this kind of, you can factorize once, and then you can factorize again kind of questions. Okay? Everyone clear with part B and C? Okay, let me just go through part A because I realize it's pretty important as well. Okay, for part A, I'm going to go through one method, but there's 2. Another method is you expand this, and then you realize that there are 4 terms, then you use grouping. Okay, because every time when there's 4 terms, you can use grouping. Is that clear? But a faster way for part A, maybe some of you already spotted. This is the question. Do you notice that this and this is very similar? Yes, right? Can you make it look exactly the same? It is similar, but it's not exactly the same. Okay? How do you make it exactly the same? Can you see if you push the negative inside instead, it will become a plus 2. But if you push it inside, it will become a b minus c. You agree? Okay, because negative give you positive b. Negative, positive c give you negative c. So you can do it this way. Then you don't even need to use grouping because the common factor is already out. And then this is the final answer. Okay? Give you guys some time to digest part A to C. Is everyone okay for A to C? Okay, I think some of you still need some time. Hannah? Okay, let's move on to question 5. Okay, sorry, let's backtrack. Okay, question 5. I think I will have time to finish question 5 and 6. I mean 5 and 7, but maybe question 8 more time. Okay. Okay, someone asked me something. Yes, okay. Okay, this is a very common question. Some of you asked me, what if I wrote it this way instead? Is it acceptable? Yes, okay, why not? It is exactly the same thing. It's just that the terms are rearranged, right? but it's the same idea, so it's acceptable. Is that clear? Can you can even swap these two, the arrangement, that is fine, okay? It's just like 2 times 3 is the same as 3 times 2, it's the same, okay? So don't be too worried about that. Okay. Anyone here don't know how to read a stem and leaf diagram? Don't know? Forgot. Okay, let's go through how to read a stem and leaf diagram. Okay, actually, when you read the key, you should know how to go through already. I mean, know how to read already. So over here, it is a dual stem and leaf diagram. Why? Because it's a single stem, but got 2 bunches of leaf. Okay, most of the time, you will only see a single stem and leaf diagram, but sometimes a dual stem and leaf diagram can come out. Okay, so what does it mean? It means that, okay, if you read the context, it's about storybooks and about kindergarten. 1, 2, it means that this is 12. 3, 9, it means that the final number is 39. Can see? Over here, okay, 2, 1, it means that the book is 21. All right, now be very careful. A lot of times, they will ask you to draw a dual stem and leaf diagram. Now, take a look at this side. It's 0, 5, 8. But this question over here, on the one on the left, can you see it is 7 to 9? Okay, what am I trying to say here? It's in ascending order, 5, 8. But for this question, in ascending order is this direction. The smaller number must always be connected to the stem. Can see? So if you are asked to draw a dual stem and leaf diagram, and you wrote something like this instead, 8, 5, 1, this is correct because smallest to biggest. But if you write 8, 9, 9, this is now incorrect. You will not get the full marks if you draw a stem and leaf diagram this way. Very common mistake. Don't say I never tell you guys. Okay? So, over here, they ask you for the median of each kindergarten. Same thing, median means you must arrange from ascending order. But do you really want to go and rewrite all these numbers from ascending, from smallest to biggest? You can, but it's very time consuming, okay? Let me teach you an easier method if you don't know already, okay? So, over here, instead of writing the numbers in ascending order, maybe you want to cancel. Okay, what do I mean by that? Please use a pencil if you are doing this method, because if you use a pen, you need to correction tape whatever you have cancelled. Okay, use a pencil. All right, so because middle value is literally right smack in the middle, away from the smallest and away from the largest, right? So you can cancel this way. The smallest value for this particular learning space is 5. The biggest value is 39. So you cancel these two together. Then you cancel this. Can see that? It's always cancel smallest and biggest. Then cancel second smallest, cancel second biggest. Can see? Then you cancel. Repeat the pattern. Can you see? Oops, I forgot this one. Can you see that the last value is the median value? Therefore, the median is not 6, it's 26. Can see that? This is an easier method so that you can avoid writing everything in ascending order. I don't think you want to write so many numbers down, right? I also don't want, okay? So this is how you can find median. You can use the same method for the other question, but, okay, let me show you guys. Okay, so use pencil so you can erase. Okay, I have an iPad so I can erase, but if you use pen, you cannot erase. Over here, let's use the same method. Cancel the smallest, cancel the biggest. Okay, do you realize you have 2 middle values? This is the even question, even number scenario. So the median is the average of these 2 values. Can see that? It's not 4, it is 24, because don't forget of the 2 over here. Common mistake. All right, so this is how you find the median for both questions. Is the cancelling technique useful? Hopefully it is. Okay, if you knew this, great. If you don't know this, learn now. Okay, learn today. Now, for part B, they say a parent claims that the children in the Jazz Place house read more than learning space. And you need to say whether she's correct or not and justify with reason. Every time you compare performance, okay, some of you have learned this chapter before. There is something about performance and there's something about spread of the data, consistency of the data. Over here, it is performance because you are looking who read more books. Okay, sorry, which kindergarten read more books. It's not about, basically it's about looking at a middle value, an average value. Okay, so because you are looking at performance, you always want to compare mean or median. This question, do you think you want to use median or do you want to use mean? Anyone want to tell me? Median? Okay, both of them are correct. Okay, actually both of them are correct, but don't use mean, you should use median. Why? Can you see part A? You already found the median. Do you want to waste time and go and find the mean? I mean, if you want to, go ahead, okay, but please don't do that in exam if you're running out of time. Okay, so you already have the median from part A. So why compare mean when you already have the median? You should compare median. Which median is bigger? Learning space rather than just house. Can see that? Just play house. So where actually got more books? Who actually, which children actually read more books is actually median space. Okay, because just playhouse has a lower median. All right, I highlight the mean here is because if you want to use mean, also can, but you need to go and purposely go and calculate the mean for both kindergartens on your own, and it's a waste of time. Is that clear? Can, you all know how to find mean, right? It's the average. Okay, total number of books divided by total number of children. Okay, but please take note, another common mistake is, right, okay, this is very important. The question can change. They say, find the median for learning space and find the mean for just place house. Then they ask you part B, whether the claim is correct or not. If they ask you whether the claim is correct or not, here is mean, here is median. You cannot just say because the 26 is bigger than the 24, therefore it's learning space. Cannot. You must always compare apple to apple. So if you use median for one, you must use median for the other. Do not compare mean and mean. Sorry, do not compare mean and median. It must be both mean or both median. Is that clear? This is a common trick that the exam would like to test you on. The only time you can compare mean with median is when the question explicitly write out and say, go ahead and use the mean, go ahead and use the median. Okay? If the question never say you can, always compare median or mean to look at the performance of the two groups. Is that clear? Can, common mistake. So please take note. Mean, median, apple to apple. Okay? Let's take a look at part C. Part C, they say a new child joins the Just Playhouse and the mean number of books increased to 23. Find the number of storybooks read by this child. This is a very typical question. Can you see if there is a new child added? There is going to be 11 children in total, okay, at Jess house. Because over here, got 10 kids, okay, 10 children. Can see? If the one is added in, there'll be 11 children in total. Can see? Now, if the new mean is 23, the total number of books is going to be 23 times the total number of children, which is 11. Can see that? Why do you want to find the total number of books? Because the question is asking you to find the total number of books read by this new child. If you have the total number of new books at the new total number of new books, you minus away the old number of books read by the 10 children, the leftover number will be the book read by the last child. Can see that? Okay, so this last child, okay, if there is no careless mistake in the answer, is going to be 28. Okay, spoil market, read so many books. All right, so over here, right, please take note of how to do all these 3 questions because it's very commonly tested. Yeah. Hold on. Oh, yes. Okay. Hold on. Yes, you're right. So here is supposed to be a 9. Yeah, thanks for spotting. Let me double check the answers. Okay, yeah, that's why I had a feeling there was going to be a careless mistake. Give me a moment. Let me double check the answers. Okay, yeah, the final answer is still correct. It's just a typo. Can? Okay, all right. Let's move. Anyone has any questions? If not, I'll move on. Okay, 10 more minutes. Just bear with me for now, 10 more minutes. Okay, please do not leave early because I have a survey that you guys need to do. Okay, so please do the survey. Don't leave early because I only will show it at the end of the lesson. Don't leave early for those online. Okay, so let's take a look at question 7. Okay, question 8, if we have no time to go through, I will show you the solutions. You all can take photo. But I know a lot of you guys here are from NY Girls actually. Question 8 is not tested in your end of year exam. It's a probability question, okay? So for question 7, they give you a trapezium, but this trapezium is a very unique trapezium. Both of these sides are equal, okay? So this is something unique about it. And I've mentioned this to my regular students, you should know. Never ever just look at the figure. Please make sure to read everything over here. Because there are times that even though it is stated in the figure, okay, sorry, it is stated here, it is not written in the figure, okay? For example, I can tell you another thing like, oh, angle FDE is maybe 80 degrees, but I don't mark it out, okay? This happens most of the time. So never ever just look at the figure. Please make sure to read the question on top, okay? Don't miss out. Now, they tell you to name the triangle congruent to EFG. So let's highlight it, okay? If you are using a highlighter for your exam paper, please make sure you highlight correctly because if you highlight wrongly, you cannot erase, okay? But I would not encourage you to use highlighter. I would encourage you to use pencil to mark it out so that you can erase because maybe by highlighting this, you confuse yourself for the later parts, all right? So over here, you need to name the triangle that is congruent. Please take note, because they tell you to name, they explicitly say name, you don't need to go and prove congruency. Okay, you just need to name the triangle. Is that clear? But if they never explicitly say name, by default, you must always prove congruency by writing out the congruency reasons. Is that clear? Okay, I think it's pretty obvious, right? This triangle, the orange color triangle, will be congruent to this blue color triangle here. By eye power, you can see already, right? Okay, another important thing that I always emphasize, congruency and similarity, you must make sure the vertex correspond. If the vertex doesn't correspond, you will be penalized for that. Can you see, because the ordering here is E, F, G. If you want to name the congruent triangle, which I'm going to highlight this, can you see E actually corresponds to F of the other triangle? Can you see that G actually corresponds to D? Can you all see that? It must correspond. If it doesn't correspond, you will be penalized, okay? So the answer over here is FED for answer 8. Is that clear? Can, Okay, for part B, I will show the solutions, okay? You don't need to write down the rules because they explicitly say name and it's only 1 mark. If you want to write down the rules, it is not wrong, but you don't need to, okay? But if anyone is interested, why is it AA property? Let's take a look. This triangle over here, EFH, is this one. Can you see that these two angles are equal? So A is satisfied. Can you see that this is a parallel line? Therefore, alternate angles. This angle is going to be equal to this angle. Can see? So it's proving by similarity using AA property. Please make sure for your workings, your vertex also correspond. What do I mean by that? Okay. Can you see that this angle is equal to this angle? Okay, you write angle GBH, you must say is equal to angle EFD. Okay, because F corresponds to D, F corresponds to D. Can see that? Then G because it's coming in this angle, in this direction, right? Like you follow my pen, don't just look at the purple line. The direction is like that. Can see? So G corresponds to E because the direction is like that. Can see? Okay? So please make sure for your workings, your alphabet also correspond. It's not just final answer. Working must correspond as well. Okay? And don't forget to write your reasons because of alternate angles. If you don't write reason, also get penalized. All right? If your vertex mix up, you don't write reason. It's as good as the question, you only get 1 mark for the answer. Okay? Don't waste the marks on this kind of silly mistakes. Okay? So someone asked online, what is AA? AA is the similarity property used here, angle. Because I use one angle, I use two angles, so it's AA. AA and triple A, AAA is the same thing. Why? Because if these two angles are equal, and it's a sum of a triangle, right? The last angle must be equal as well. Is that clear? Because they must all sum up to 180 degrees. So confirm the last angle will be the same. Is that clear? Okay, so here's the answer for part C. Part C, they ask you to find angle EHF. You already know that this is 41 degrees because this is 41 degrees. Can see that? But because this trapezium is a bit special, okay? The two lengths are equal. So actually, right, these two triangles are congruent and these two triangles are similar. Okay, so if they are congruent, what does it mean? It means that, hold on, this is congruent, this is congruent. You don't need to prove the congruency because they didn't ask you, and it's only 2 marks. Your working shouldn't be that long. You should know by eye power that the triangles are congruent. So these two lengths are equal. Can see that? If these two lengths are equal, can you see that it is an isosceles triangle? So this is 41 degrees. Can see? If this is 41, this is 41, it means that this is also 41 degrees as well. Is that clear? Then the last angle must be 180 degrees minus the 241 degrees. Can? Okay, so over here, take a look at the workings. Please indicate your reasons. If you don't indicate reason, confirm will be penalized one. Okay, 2 mark question, right? Well, 1 mark gone already. You write so much for 1 mark. Do you think it's worth it? Okay, I leave it up for you guys to go and think. Is that clear? Can, Okay, they ask you the last question. Find the length of EG. EG is this one over here. Okay, so remember, just now we already identified similar triangles, right? So can you see 25 is going to be correspond to 10 cm? Can you all see that? Do you all agree that 25 over 10 is going to be EH over GH? Do you agree? This is your similar triangle properties, because you already know that these two triangles are similar. It means that you can find corresponding sides. All right. So over here, here's the solution. Okay, the more important thing is you need to use this one over here and this one over here. You don't really need this. Okay, why you don't need the last one? You need to use EF and GD because these are the only 2 lengths provided to you, the only numbers that you have. So you definitely need to use it. And then you want EG. EG is this entire thing, but isn't EG the same as GH plus HE? So in other words, you need EH and GH together. Okay? Then you can go and find EH. But then same thing, is the question asking you for EH? No, it's asking you for EG. So you need to take 15 plus 6 to give you 21 cm. Is that clear? Can? All right, okay, we're going to overrun a bit. You guys just have to bear with me, okay? The last question is a probability question. For those of you who have not learned probability, I will still encourage you to understand whatever we are doing because you will see eventually. Okay, it's better to have a head start and then you can understand better in school as well. Okay, I'm going to change to the next page soon. Okay, let's take a look at the last question. So probability is likelihood. It's just like, for example, if you have a 6-sided dice, what is the probability of you drawing a 2? It's 1/6 because there's 6 possible options, but you only want the number 2. Okay? So this question, they tell you there's a box and it contains 30 cards labeled 0 to 29. Okay? So 0 to 29, can you see that there are 30 cards, but there is 0 to 29? Because the first card is technically 0, then 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way to 29. Is that clear? Since there are 30 cards, you have 30 cards in total that you could pick, but what is the probability of you picking an odd number? Okay, the probability of you picking an odd number is going to be 15/30 because there are 15 odd numbers out of the 30 identical cards. All right, then for part II, they ask you the number that is a multiple of 4. You should list out all the multiples of 4. Okay, then you count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The fact that there's 7 out of 30 cards that are multiples of 4, the probability is 7/30. Okay? Then the last question is a bit trickier. Okay? They ask you to find a number that's a multiple of 2, but not a multiple of 3. So you should list out all the multiples of 2, but remove those that happen to be a multiple of 3. Can see that? And it turns out that there are 10 of them in total. 10 out of 30, that's the answer for the probability. Cannot. Okay, yeah. Probability shouldn't be in percentage. It should be in a fraction. Unless they say leaving your answer in percentage. Okay, so take a look at the presentation. You see, this is very useful. Please take note. I don't just write the answer immediately. I say probability of odd number, probability of multiple of 4, probability of multiple of 2, but not 3. Take a look at the presentation. This is good presentation. Okay, so this is the end for content.